guys, right?
Right.
But look at what those 6 or 7 guys are doing, because right here, right now, I'm here to tell you, Caleb Martin in these 3 games has made 10 out of 21 threes. Well, that's 48%. You mentioned Gabe Vincent. He's made 10 out of 18 threes in these 3 games. That's 56%. Duncan Robinson has come back alive.
Yes.
Come back from the quote-unquote dead at the end of the bench. And he's healthy now, and he's made 8 of 15 threes. That's 53%. And Kyle Lowry's made 40% of his threes. And Strus has made 7 of 18. Not great, but it's 39%, which on most would be pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. And Jimmy orchestrates in ways I've never seen anybody orchestrate, because it's not like he's a great passer as in LeBron or Magic or Stockton, where he'll make 2 or 3 passes a night. You say, wow, where did that come from? He doesn't do that. He just orchestrates because they can't keep him out of their lane.
Right.
Or as I said Friday, their kitchen.
Right.
Or let's do Fox in the hen house.
Right.
Because he gets in the hen house whenever he wants to, and he is a fox.
Well, when they let him in the kitchen, he starts cooking. He makes any dish he wants. I'm going to get the and one. You're going to foul me and put it on the free throw line, or I'm going to dish it out to one of my 3-point shooters, and they're going to bang your eyes out. So what do you want me to do? But I'm going to cook.
Okay. So the point is, in the big picture, he always finds the right guy and trusts the right guy to make the right shot. And let me show you, this was the play of the night. This came late in the first quarter. This is vintage Heat basketball. This is who they are right now, off a miss by Jaylen Brown. He missed at the rim. You'll see this. And then what's he going to do? He's going to stay down and yell at the ref and complain, because they whine and whine. That pass is a little long for Caleb, but he gets it to Jimmy Butler, who turns and almost like is on the same wavelength with Strus.
Right.
That's a beautiful basketball play. The trailer is Strus, and guess who was supposed to be guarding Strus? Jaylen Brown, who's still down on the floor.
It happens every skip. We see that 2 or 3 times a night. A guy gets to go to the lane. He fakes his foul. He stays on the ground, and then somebody hits man. Skip, I knew they were in trouble when I see all of a sudden the Heat coming down on 3-on-1, and they pulling up from 3. Ain't nobody going to the rim. They running to the 3-point line. Gabe Benson shooting the 3 and watching it.
Yep.
And then Jimmy Butler hit Al Horford with his own move.
He did.
You hit that?
That's his signature rub-it-in move.
Yeah.
You guys need a timeout? Oh, yeah, you better call a timeout. He did it off of Gabe Vincent. He didn't do it off his own three.
Yes.
Okay, and what happened Friday night? The series, to me, completely turned when Grant Williams, of all people, who'd been lost on the bench for the Celtics, decides he's getting a little run, so he's getting full of himself again, and he decides after he makes a bucket, he's coming up the court.
He hit a 3.
Yeah, he gets in Jimmy Butler's ear and starts telling him about it. Shannon, you can't. Not that guy. You cannot poke that bear, because that bear is a grizzly bear who will eat you alive. You can't run and you can't hide from that grizzly bear who is Jimmy Butler.
You know, I did something good. I mean, you got a good grade on your report card. You run home and show, hey, look here, mama, look what I got.
Look what I did.
I hit a 3.
Yeah.
I got to let you know. Hey.
What do you think, Jimmy? you just can't. And Jimmy went off on him.
He went crazy.
He just went crazy. And he's telling him about it and telling him about it. And even last night, he had a shot late in the first half where Grant Williams bumped him, and it was kind of a quasi-foul. But he got the foul call, and Jimmy goes down and is just pointing at him. That's on you. And Friday night was on you. I think this is the play, Jimmy Butler. This is when they're just front-running at the end of the half. Yep, he got a bump, and he was moving, and it was good, and he's pointing. It's on you. Okay, so what we're seeing now is the Miami Heat, who have one of the stronger cultures in all of basketball, maybe the strongest.
Right.
They have an extremely good head coach who the players respect, and more important, they love it.
You ain't got no choice, Skip.
Yeah.
It's not like you can run to the general manager, because Eric Spoelstra has the 100% backing of Pat Riley. As LeBron and them found out the first year there. He like, I don't know what y'all coming to me for. He gonna be y'all coach. I'm not coming down there. So what are you gonna do? I want out. Okay. And we're gonna get you out when we're ready to get you. Players don't run anything in Miami.
Yep.
Pat Riley, Mickey Harrison, the owner, has given Pat Riley carte blanche control.
That is true. And it hit me last night, to your point. I was thinking about my Dallas Cowboys, and that's the flip of this, because they all run to Jerry.
Yes.
Because nobody fears Jerry, because he
would be a better friend.
Granddaddy,
Yeah.
you know, right? He loves everybody.
Yep.
I got you.
Right.
I got you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And Mike McCarthy is the opposite of Eric Spoelstra, because I don't think anybody in the locker room truly respects him. They don't fear him. I'm not sure they fear Spoelstra, but they fear that guy upstairs. And they know that it starts up there.
Well, I think the thing is with Spo is that Spo is unwilling to back down. He got Jimmy Butler respect. He's like, I'll fight you right here, Jimmy Butler.
He did.
And then UD stepped in. You know, UD, he's looking for a good Waller session.
Yeah.
So now the question is, Skip, let's just say for the sake of argument, and you mentioned that culture. Udonis Haslem has been the godfather of that, the protector of that culture.
He's still there, and he's still dressed.
But he says, I'm retiring after this year.
He did.
Who feels that role for them?
Well, right now, that's not a problem. But it will be.
It will be.
It will be.
But but the thing is, Skip, is that it seems to me that these guys sincerely love playing for each other. Jimmy's going to get as many shots as he needs or he wants, and then everybody else fills in. Sometimes you might get 10 shots. Sometimes you might get 5 shots. But the one guy that's going to get as many shots as he needs is Jimmy.
Yeah.
And they've accepting of that. Skip, you don't hear anybody talking about minutes. Man, such and such was complaining about minutes. Such and such was playing time and this and that. You don't hear that. You never hear that, or I haven't heard that coming out of Miami.
Nope. What is Jimmy Butler not? He's not a three-point shooter.
No.
So what a beautiful fit this is. You got a bunch of snipers surrounded by a guy that the Celtics can't keep out of the kitchen.
Correct.
Okay? So that's why it fits perfect. They are maxing out who they are.
Right.
I've never seen anything quite like it, because they are playing the beautiful game of basketball at the highest level, as far as making the right pass to the right shooter, making the shot.
Right.
And if the ball is loose, I like their chances of getting the loose ball.
Yes.
If there's a charge to be taken, I like their
Kyle Lowry
chances.
will take Kyle, Bam.
Yeah.
All them guys will step in there. They will sacrifice their body for the betterment of the team.
Okay, they're little big things. They add up to this run that they're on, because they destroyed Milwaukee, and they are in the midst of destroying Boston.
Skip, you know what? I think the thing that worked so best for them, most of their guys will work. Undrafted free agents or low-round draft picks. Jimmy Butler was the last pick in the first round. He was never viewed as a superstar, so he didn't have that silver. You look at all these guys, the Vincents, the Strus, all these guys. Skip,
Caleb Martin, undrafted.
So now, Skip, they're like, man, I got to do whatever it takes to stay in this league.
Yep, but they've made the point on the telecast that they were all made to feel like they belonged from moment one, because Pat Riley had said, you can play for us.
Right. Yeah, but undrafted, so they got a chance. So, hold on, Pat Riley, the coach of Magic and Kareem, he won here, won a championship here.
Well, LeBron and D-Wade. Yeah.
He's like, hold on. He came, Skip, there's a difference between being drafted and you have a choice. Because if you get drafted, Skip, I ain't got no choice but to go there.
Yeah.
But as an undrafted free agent, you get to go pick and choose wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
And Pat Riley says, I want you. I want you. I want you.
And they're playing just like that.
Yes.
Okay, so as yet, I'm not a big Joe Mazzulla fan. He's been at war with the Boston media from game one this year, and it's not smart. If you're unproven and you're the head coach of the Boston Celtics, you have to figure out a way to navigate the media.
Yes.
It's just somehow. You just have to figure out how to get through it. So last night he chose, and I'm figuring somebody might have advised him, fall on your sword. And so he goes in after the game, and every answer is, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. But you could just tell watching him, it was defiant and it was sarcastic, because he's just saying, I'm going to take the ball, I'm going to put the ball back in your court. You know, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. No, it's my fault. Every answer was some version of, it's on me, it's on me, it's on me. Well, I don't believe it. I don't think the team believes it. I'm not sure they're sold on him as their leader.
But guess what, Skip? Joe Mazzulla, he can't coach. But there's a guy on that team that was first team All-NBA. There's a guy on that team that was second team All-NBA.
And there was a guy on that team who was sixth man of the year.
So I'm just trying to figure out. What role did he play in that? Since y'all don't want to give him, he don't get no credit. All he gets is blame.
Okay. And to your point, I'll start with the sixth man of the year last night.
Oh.
Malcolm Brogdon was 0 for 6 and 0 for 3 from 3. Then let's go to second team All-NBA. Jaylen Brown was 6 of 17 and 0 for 7 from 3 with 3 turnovers. And a kid you love, Jason Tatum, was 6 of 18, 1 of 7 from 3 with also 3 turnovers.
And those two guys got to the free throw line a grand total of one time between the both.
One time. It's not right. And I keep telling you, I love Jason Tatum off the floor. I love he's a great face of this franchise. He's a great face upcoming of this league. Kobe was a big fan. He was a protege of Kobe's. I'm not sure he's that guy. At least he hasn't proven to me he's that guy yet.
They can't still be underdogs because after game 2, think about this. They're up 2-0. They're going to Miami, and they're still dogs. The analytics give the Celtics the advantage, the whole thing, like 2-1 advantage at home. And oh my, this was the worst beating of the series so far, Jay.
Look, I've never, in my time watching playoff basketball, I have never, ever seen a team just quit, roll over, and die like the Celtics did last night. I mean, I'm sitting there watching the game, and when Joe Mazzulla is benching his starters in the fourth, and I'm like, no, play them dudes. Play them dudes. Like, I know you're trying to, but this is about something way different than just saving legs for a game 4. This is about respect, self-respect. Like, play them. Let them play through it. Let them be embarrassed. They need to feel what it's like to be embarrassed and still be on the court instead of sit on the sidelines and watch. I've never seen it before. And the Heat and Jimmy Butler they're taking their soul, man. Like, we're watching it in real time, like Mortal Kombat. Like, literally put their arm into their body and say, yank them, come over here. Like, that's what we're watching.
Well, you see it on the screen here. They are finally, the Heat are now finally favorites for Game 4. Caesars Sportsbook has them as 2-point favorites. Finally, now that they're 1 win away with a home game coming up, another home game, from reaching the NBA Finals. I mean,
2 points, though.
What's that?
They only gave 2 points, though. They didn't
Two, right, yeah, even then, that's a good call. They're favored by a possession. They're favored by 1 possession after winning. Listen, I'm coming back from Vegas last night, right? So, like, I leave in the morning because I was working Vasily Lomachenko, Devin Haney, great lightweight title fight, controversial decision, could have gone either way. Anyway, the flight gets there on time. I'm like, okay, but no Wi-Fi on the flight, right? It's not working. United flight. And we land in Newark. Well, listen, make your Wi-Fi work. You don't get called out. We land in Newark. You want to talk about some bums, whoever's making the flight schedules at Newark. We're on the tarmac for 2 hours. We land 6:40, I think. We're on the tarmac. I'm like, oh, I'm watching this Heat Celtics game. When I get there for the first quarter, by the time I got home, third quarter started. They're down 30. Game's over already. Game's over. Like, talk about this is what Jay said. Key, they took their souls.
Yeah, they took their souls to the point, Jay, where the coach made a decision that he was going to bench guys in the fourth quarter, and then in his post-presser made mention of losing the locker room. And at that point in time, I mean, like, come on, man. Your walking papers is because you can't come back from that. You can't come back from saying that you've lost your locker room, essentially. That there in itself is a fireable offense.
Well, Key, I mean, I said that a couple of weeks ago, and people were like, oh, what do you mean when they came back and they beat? Look, I thought they lost the locker room. I'm like, yo, man, I'm just trying to tell y'all something feels very, very off with this team. And by the way, if you're Jason Tatum, or if you're Jaylen Brown, if you're Joe Mazzulla, you're saying, damn, we caught a case of the undrafted like that? Like a case of the undrafted? Vincent Strus, Robinson, and Martin Key combined for 79 points.
Yeah, Vincent was the leading scorer, wasn't he?
Yeah, remember what I told you, 29. Remember what I told you, Jay? Just because
I know
we say they not good, don't mean that they can't be coached to victory.
Well, they're obviously the better team, Key. I think that's when even last week, we're like, yo, are they their championship team? Like, the Celtics are a more talented team, but the Miami Heat are the better team.
But the reason I think you got to give the Heat, as you are doing, Jay, extreme credit here is the Celtics. And by the way, Sixers fans must be like, oh my God, we lost to these guys. The Sixers are up 3-2 and have a chance to close them out in Game 6. Tatum goes nuts in that fourth quarter, carries it over to Game 7, drops 51, sets a Game 7 playoff record, the whole thing, and they ride that into this series. It's not like the Celtics had just rolled over in the previous series. Their backs were to the wall. They came through. So that's the team with that momentum. You got to figure they start believing in themselves. That's why when the Heat take their heart like this, by Game 3, they're down 30 basically all game. It's you just got to tip your cap to the Heat.
Are they the more talented team, though? I know they have less accolades than the Celtics, players, and they didn't get drafted and all that hot. But why I say that is, if you're the superior team and you have the more talent and all, man, you're not supposed to be down 3-0. I don't give a damn what nobody say. I don't care. You're not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be down 3-0 if your talent is that much more superior than your opponent.
Yo, can I say this, kid? And it's obviously Joe Mazzulla is going to take a lot of hits today.
A beating.
He's going to take a backyard beating today across the national media. But I am going to sit here and say that, man, like Ime Udoka set this dude's NBA coaching career back like a ton. Like, imagine this team, Key, with Ime Udoka as the head coach. Like, there was an identity. And, like, Joe Mazzulla, any coach wants a shot, right? But when you're the head coach of a G League team and then you're the head coach of Fairmont State for a couple of years and then you become an assistant with Brad Stevens, and then Brad Stevens takes Danny Ainge's position and he's the only assistant kept, and then he's with Ime Udoka, and then Udoka gets fired. It's like you're sitting there looking at, Joe Mazzulla today saying, you're so green. Like, that's why we said this was the biggest mismatch in the entire playoffs. It wasn't a player on the court. I mean, Jimmy Butler's been special. It's been Eric Spoelstra going against Joe Mazzulla, first-year head coach with expectations to win. And now you're asking yourself the real question, will he be back as the head coach next year for a team that has lost their identity?
What I would do if I was Brad Stevens, what I would do is I'd bring him back, because it's hard. You just gave him a contract. I don't know exactly what the years were because I don't remember. But you just gave him a contract, so he's got that. You bring him back. And then, for my money, what I would then think is that if it's not going well early, just look across the room at Pat Riley and what he was able to do when Van Gundy was the head coach. He came downstairs and he led him to a championship. Maybe Brad Stevens takes that model and say, you know what, I'm going to bring him back. I'm going to let him coach him up and see where it goes and how things go. Because it really, in all honesty, if you want to be honest, Jay, it's unfair to him to be pushed into this position as raw as he's been. It's just unfair. He was not equipped to be the head coach of the Boston Celtics coming out of training camp or going into training camp and then all of a sudden coming out of it and I'm the head coach of the Boston Celtics. I mean, that's unfair to him. So Brad Stevens, maybe next year he comes downstairs.
All right, coming up, we're going to hear from Joe Mazzulla. Has he lost the locker room? Have the Celtics quit? By the way, you bring up Pat Riley, Key. David Aldridge had the stat on Twitter, I guess, yesterday or this morning. I saw it this morning early. Pat Riley, the actual number is 24.7%, but that's 25%, right? That's a quarter. Has participated as a player, coach, or executive in 25% of every finals ever played in NBA history. Think about that.
Damn.
The gangsterism. 25% of every finals ever played. There's Pat Riley in one way or another. It is bananas. All right. Have the Celtics quit? Has Joe Mazzulla lost the locker room? He was asked that very question last night after an ever-loving butt-whipping on national TV in Game 3, down 0-2 on the road, favored to win somehow still. Here is Joe Mazzulla.
You're not telling them to lose by 28 points, but you're telling them to try. So is there a disconnect?
Yeah, that's where I have to be better, is figure out what this team needs to make sure that they're connected, they're physical, and they're together by the time we step on the floor.
What do you think caused that disconnect?
Not sure.
He's copping to it. Well, I don't know what else he can really say.
I mean, Max, Key, I don't know how you would feel about this. I know how I would feel, frankly. If I were a player and I were getting blitzed on the road in a must-win game, and my coach in the NBA, this is different than college now. Like, I've been benched in college for, coaches to make statements, but happens more so during the regular season. I don't think it would happen during the tournament. But in Game 3 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and my head coach benches me the entire fourth quarter, I'm losing my damn mind, Key. I am getting up. I am saying something. This does not help my relationship with him in the locker room. This is not college. Like, I need to be on the court. I need to be playing right now. You ain't going to catch the camera, panning over to me multiple times with my towel over my head, with me just watching my team get down by even more, me watching, other guys, role players in there scraping and clawing. That needs to be me in there scraping and clawing. Like, there needs to be some kind of mindset where, hey, y'all going to have to play through this. Like, I'm not going to excuse you from the embarrassment by making you sit here on the sideline next to me. We ain't trying to save legs for Game 4. Y'all need to be out there playing, and we need to find a way to play through this because y'all need to find some kind of rhythm, or y'all just maybe need to be embarrassed to the point where y'all going to be angry for Game 4. I just don't know why you would let your players sit there on the bench the entire fourth. But it's another thing, Key, where it makes me look at the situation and like, Joe, what are we doing here? Like, what are the steps that you're taking to help this team get over the hump and find themselves?
Well, I think you risk injury, long-term injury, right? You're not going to win the game. You're not going to win the game, and so you take the cautious approach and you say, "Look, I'm going to sit these guys because I'm protecting them. I'm protecting the future of the organization." I mean, I really don't. I mean, I understand what you're saying as a basketball player, Jay, but you got to look that we're not playing great.
Yeah, but Key, we're not going to do playoff load management right now. We're not playing. It's Game 3, man.
It's pretty much over with, though. So it's more about, I think it probably was more about protecting them from being hurt than it was resting their legs.
Jay's given the Apollo Creed to Rocky in Rocky 3 speech. There is no tomorrow.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no. What are we doing here? There's no tomorrow. This is it's a shocking outcome because, as I said, of the way the Celtics seem to be rising against the Sixers, because of at least the perception that the Celtics are the deeper, more talented team. They were just in the finals in an extended series last year, right? And Jimmy Butler and a cast of, guys that people really don't know a lot about, not high draft picks, etc. It's not just that they're up 3-0; they're kicking their teeth in. So here's a question, guys. The Celtics are considered deep and talented and young and ascending and all this kind of stuff, but they have seemed to quit. The Lakers are fighting hard, but fighting against a juggernaut in these Nuggets. No team has ever come back down 0-3. What would be the bigger shock if one of these two teams were able to do it? Would it be the Lakers playing against a more talented team, even though the Lakers are fighting hard, or the Celtics playing against, at least on paper, the less talented team, but they've seemed to roll over? Which would be more shocking to you guys? Jay?
Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say it would be Boston to me. It would be Boston to me. It just Magic Johnson, who never tweets anything negative about anybody, y'all, ever, literally in the tweet said, in my 44 years of being associated with the NBA, I never thought I'd see a Boston Celtics team, a franchise with 17 chips, quit. I know Celtic fans all over the world must be disgusted and devastated. The Miami Heat blew them out 128-102 in Game 3. When does Magic Johnson ever say disgusted and quit in a tweet?
Never.
He's always just recapping games. Key like, oh, what a great effort by this team, or Jamal Murray, cheers to you.
Yeah, Magic will tweet stuff like, I love basketball after a great game, a great game 7. He keeps it nice and positive. Yeah.
Yeah, Buck throwing a little dig though. Come on, man, stop it. he hitting them where it hurts.
Yeah.
I would say it would be Boston. The Lakers are this thing. The Lakers got tonight. The Lakers got a shot to win a game. Boston, on the other hand, they're on the road. The Lakers are at home. They're on the road. They dropped their 2 games at home. So you got to figure if they drop the 2 at home, Miami's going to probably win both of theirs, and they're going to go to the finals. The Lakers could hold this thing off. It may be the Grizzlies are lackadaisical. I mean, not the Grizzlies. The Nuggets are lackadaisical and going out there just kind of, and they lose because they know they can go back home. They have the luxury to do that.
Unless like, if I was a Sixers fan this morning, I'd be like, yo, we lost these dudes. These dudes will give you their belly, say, scratch my belly. How did that happen? But that's why I think, it's a tough call because they're not coming down back down 0-3, right? But they have watching what Tatum did at the end of Game 6 and then all of Game 7, Jay. To me, you got that there. It's right there. And all it takes is one. All of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. You do it one at a time. I don't know.
Because you're about to see headlines like, to me, we're about to have the best NBA matchup as it relates to teams. Like the best basketball matchups between the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. But media members like that, that's all you're getting. It's us, the Miami Heat, and it's nobody cares.
Heat good. I like the Heat. The Nuggets are a great team. I get it. I'm just saying, Jay, the sports world was getting ready for the possibility.
You're one of these people, Max. I knew it. You're one of these people.
Think about what was at stake. The 2 winningest franchises ever, both sitting at 17. The 2 biggest rivals in sports, and they're up there with any rivalry. We're going to duke it out potentially to see who would get to the 18th chip and get to pole position. Like, what? Come on, man. You cannot not be disappointed if those 2 teams don't play, which they ain't gonna.
Call me, Jay, when you let me know who wins the first matchup between the first game between the Heat and the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Max, I mean, let's be honest about that. Is it still? I know the fans see it as a rivalry for sure. Do the players still see it as a rivalry? Has it felt like a rivalry between the players in a while?
I mean, no, because they haven't played with high stakes recently. But all it takes is one series, and then it's right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, the best team. This is sports. The reason that's incredible when you get the Lakers Celtics, if that's what you want, is there's no predetermined outcome, and you might get the Heat Nuggets, right? But
you get in.
No, I'm saying when you enter the playoffs, it might be like, well, we might wind up with Heat Nuggets, and I'll watch it, I'll enjoy it, but. Of course, most people would rather see Lakers Celtics. I think that's fair to say. Is that not fair to say?
It's fair to say. It's fair to say that I don't think D'Lo will be a Laker next year, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
I'll tell you what. I'm happy the Celtics aren't in it. Just as a Lakers fan, don't give them a chance to get to 18, and the Lakers are sitting at 17.
The godfather of basketball, man, Pat Riley. Dude, the same reason LeBron James went down to Miami is the same reason that Jimmy Butler is now thriving in the Miami Heat uniform. Their whole culture. Keith, do you know that part of their culture, they have a weight hit that you have to, like, literally, if you cross over a certain weight, like if you don't play in 2 games, you have to do a certain level of conditioning, like where your body fat cannot drop below a certain point or you're not going to play. Like, so there's certain standards that they have there, which a lot of teams or a lot of players don't like to rock with because they hold you accountable, man. And that's a culture in which Jimmy Butler is able to thrive.
You knew when he signed there in the first place, it's like, I just imagine Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler having a conversation. They speak the same language, right? Eric Spoelstra, same language. He's the perfect guy for that franchise. And I have to admit, I never thought he, with this cast of characters, would lead them as far as he has consistently every year, and then this year it looks better than ever. But I did think, boy, that's the perfect signing for that franchise, right? Like, man, he's not good enough to be the best player in a championship team, but he could be the second best player. He could prime the situation for the superstar. No, man, every step of his career, guys. He comes in the league as a defensive stopper. Then a defensive stopper could give you 20 points sometimes. Then a guy who could do that consistently. Then a guy who could be an all-star, year in and year out. Then a high-level all-star. By the end of this season, we might be sitting there going, that's the best player in basketball. It's possible. It's possible. It's nuts. All those young, talented teams, they were all in contention or trending toward it. And he had a problem in certain stops with the guy who was supposed to be a superstar for that team, right? Or the culture or whatever. Chicago, Minnesota. Who am I missing? Philadelphia, right? And think of where those teams are and think of where the Heat are right now. It's a unique story, I think, in the history of the NBA.
Since he's left, Jay, since he left those organizations, he will probably be in 2 finals, even though he hadn't won, but he'll be in 2. They've been in none. Think about it. He's been in 2, and they've been in none.
The situation with Karl Anthony Towns is pretty well documented in Minnesota, right? And then obviously you got the Philly situation, which I just made mention of. Look, the Miami Heat just have, I think one of the reasons I'm excited for the NBA Finals for them is because we're going to get a chance to learn about a lot of these players. Like Caleb Martin, like literally one of the main reasons Caleb Martin, like Caron Butler sent me a text. We were going through it just about how J. Cole helped him get on the Miami Heat and how this dude has just worked his tail off. And once again, guys who are undrafted, man, the route they have to take to get there, the fact that we're talking about this team in the NBA Finals as probably the best team in basketball. Now, Denver has more talent, but from just a team perspective to overcome these odds, man, like I've never seen what the Miami Heat have done before like this at this level with some of these players.
See, I go back to that again, though, Jay. You say more talent. How could that be if a team is in the championship? I just don't.
Well,
I don't know.
You can say a team is more. You can say a team is more talented. Doesn't mean they're a better team, right? They're 2 different things.
Yeah,
Meantime, you guys, you said it earlier. All those teams he left haven't even been in a conference finals. Jimmy Butler, he's been in 3 of the last 4, and very likely 2 of the last 4 finals. And by the way, there is a chance that he chips up this year. Imagine that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium.
As we now welcome in Tim Legler. Look, this was a Celtics team that was supposed to be able to play defense. This was a Celtics team that has depth to it. Yet we're sitting here asking, as they're down as far as they are, what has happened to the Celtics?
I'll tell you, Nicole, this has really been shocking to me to see how inept they look defensively. I'm not shocked necessarily that Miami is up in the series or that Miami would even win the series. But for Boston to look this inept defensively, that's what's been shocking to me, because you look at their personnel, it's as good as anybody has in this league when you combine the perimeter defenders with what they have on the back line with Robert Williams. And yet Miami did whatever they wanted to do in this one. They win every one-on-one matchup. They've won every ISO matchup, blow-by drives, and then ultimately they get the separation from the three-point line, because when Boston would play decent defense and protect the paint and draw extra guys, Miami always made the extra pass to the right guy for the 3 when they had to have it. And this is what's shocking, because this is how Boston ended teams in the regular season, with the three-point shooting. But here it was Miami really doing all of the damage. And I just was watching this game in amazement, because Boston couldn't do anything to slow this team down, and that's very surprising.
I can't help but think of what Marcus Smart said a while ago, and it raised a few eyebrows when he made a comment about Joe Mazzulla learning at this point in the season. He's learning. Here we are at this point. They're getting blown out. They are down 3-0 in this series. What have we learned about how Mazzulla is running that team, how he's connecting with that team, how he is motivating that team? What are we seeing here?
Well, listen, you don't want to completely discard everything Joe Mazzulla did all during the regular season, because you got to remember the first 2.5 months of the season, this was the best team in the NBA. I thought by a wide margin. Now, the second half has been a roller coaster, and certainly this was a bad look tonight. When you have a game that you have to win to get into a series and you get dismantled to this extent, that is a bad sign. And I think some of what Marcus Smart's talking about is, every move that Joe Mazzulla makes, everything in terms of preparation defensively, every substitution, every after timeout play they run, everything's magnified and the pressure is greater at this time of the year. And I think that's really what Marcus Smart was alluding to. Mazzulla is a very young coach. This is his first time going through the pressure of something like this. And this isn't, by the way, the first flat performance that they've had. They've had other ones. They had a game at home against Atlanta, a 500 team that they couldn't close out at home. It forced them to go back on the road for another game. They had one in Philadelphia at home when the Sixers took it to them. They rose up when they had to get through that series. But so they've had moments in this where you've sort of scratched your head. And where is the team that we saw in the beginning of the season that was so dominant on both ends of the floor? So I think there's definitely questions that are going to linger. If they lose this series, the way that they're losing it in particular, questions are going to be raised this summer about the entire fit. I think their team is going to take a look at themselves in the mirror as well from a personnel standpoint. Are there going to be changes made? Because when you go out like this, it leaves such a sick feeling in your stomach, and it really does. Disregard an awful lot of the things that you did in the regular season well.
We mean no disrespect to the Heat by just getting to them now, because they absolutely won this game. They dominated in this game, and it's remarkable what that team has done getting into the play-in and then now getting to where they are now. And in this particular game, they made almost any shot that they wanted to make. So what are you seeing from that Heat offense?
I'm just seeing, first of all, they're winning every individual matchup that's in front of them. And it's not just Jimmy Butler. It's Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, Bam Adebayo. Anytime they get single coverage, they win that matchup. But then the three-point shooting has really been the difference, particularly in this one. And you can see how Miami is playing so fast up the floor, forcing Boston to react to penetration. And it's these blow-by drives right here. When you then get three jerseys defensively in the paint, now you see Boston is just chasing the basketball, and you never catch up to it. One more time, when finally Boston comes up with a double team on Jimmy Butler, you actually draw three guys because it's a miscommunication and it's a simple kick out and it's just pass and shoot basketball. So I just thought everything they did has been clean. This is a master coaching clinic on the part of Eric Spoelstra. The way that his team is prepared defensively to protect each other, how hard they are competing, and then the way he is maxing out every guy that is in their rotation on this roster. Think about this, Nicole. Gabe Vincent tonight outscored both of Boston's star players. They had 4 players outscore both of those guys individually. That's how good Miami was in this game and how good they've been throughout the entire postseason. Jimmy Butler gets all the credit that he deserves. This has been a team performance, and you have had guys every single night step up on a different night and provide that supplemental offense. But I've been most impressed with their defense and how on a string and connected they are. And that is coaching and preparation and having guys that want to do it.
Gabe Vincent scored 29 points. And if you're looking just at the box score, Jason Tatum, 14 points on 6 of 18 shooting. Jaylen Brown, 6 of 17, 12 points. So the offense is obviously clicking for the Heat, but how are they defensively able to disrupt those stars for the Celtics the way that they have?
There's been relentless pressure. First of all, Miami's got a lot of similar-sized defenders that can switch more capably than most teams in the league, and so they're doing a lot of switching on ball screens, and they're handing them off from one good defender to another. And I've just been so impressed with the want to fight over screens far out on the floor, to chase guys around screens on the baseline, to make sure nobody gets hung out to dry in an isolation situation and gets all the way to the rim on a dribble drive. Bam Adebayo lurking back there. So I just think when you want to look at an instructional video on how to play half-court defense, that's what the Miami Heat look like right now. Every team in the country, every coach at every level should be recording this series and showing their teams how to play half-court defense, the way that you're going to help and recover, close out, the will, multiple effort plays, securing defensive rebounds, you name it. The Heat have done it on that end of the floor, and it has really frustrated Boston. And tonight was the first time you really saw the white flag get raised.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.
Well, that was ugly.
Yep.
If you're a Celtic fan, especially.
Beat down.
But just watching this one, 128-102, the final as Miami takes a 3-0 lead. And as physical as it got tonight was, Shaq, you looked like you were very
punched in the head.
Yeah.
You know what? It was about to be some furniture movement up here. Then Ernie got a shot. The Godfather had my back.
Shaq and Chuck.
You're right,
more
Henry.
than the Celtics.
Come on, man. That was it. I'm embarrassed as a Celtic fan right now.
Yeah, that was bad.
That's bad, man.
Beat down. Beat down at the beach.
You're a Celtic fan? When did you become that?
I say, if you're a Celtic fan, I don't even think you mind losing, but that was humiliating.
We welcome you to Inside the NBA, presented by Kia, though it feels a lot more like a Forensic Files episode after watching that. That was...
I got a question.
You got a question before we do the highlights?
Yeah, just one question.
Wait, we're going to show the highlights of that thing?
Since the Celtics quit, can we quit?
That's right. No.
Okay.
You don't have that in you.
Hey,
you're right.
You don't have any quitting.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Didn't we talk about you having played in this building?
You're right.
You're right. Excuse me, having
rolled
built
the tape.
this
You're right. My bad.
I guess
my
you
bad.
mean when he's eating, he don't have no quitting in me.
My bad.
Oh, you got skinny. You talking fat jokes all night. Look at that.
That's
funny.
First of all, I'm skinnier than Chuck.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
All right, Chuckster.
Yes, sir.
Take me through a few highlights.
Well, listen, if you guys, listen, we got a crack tab, but we find any good Celtics highlight. Hey,
this was the play of the first half. Man, that was
walk into a Strus.
Yep, Strus knocks it down. Hey, you got his name right.
Yeah. Me and his mom and dad had a long
Here goes Kyle Lowry. Pick your poison. Here goes Caleb
Martin.
Come on, man.
Look at how they just spread the floor, Kenny. Just wait for the opportunity.
And then the turnovers were just, if you don't take care of the basketball,
throw it down.
Eight-point games go to 16 quickly in the NBA.
This game is officially over at the end of the first quarter.
It was 30-22 after one.
Look at that. Look at that patience.
Layup.
Duncan Robinson.
Come on, man.
Duncan Robinson. If y'all ever sit that dude on the bench again, I will come to Miami and smack everybody.
Gabe
Vincent.
You know what's crazy, Kenny? The best player in the playoffs has 16 points. These dudes won by 30.
Yeah.
Delegation at its finest.
How about this? Up top to Bam from Duncan Robinson. And then Caleb Martin again. Man, did they have some open threes or what? Bam.
Whoa. That's what I used to do to you, Chuck.
Tell you what, man.
That's the black tornado right there. Don't make them fall.
Those Celtics had to fight up please tonight. That's ridiculous, man.
Oh, we're going to have a Heat player coming up here, huh?
Yeah. Duncan Robinson out of the corner, and he connects.
Everything.
It's not often you can just get anybody out the Heat locker room. They could have been the star of the game.
And this is still in the first half, boys and girls, 59-44. Boston's lowest point total in the first half in these playoffs. What would they have in the third quarter? Not much.
A lot more fight.
Listen, there was a lot to it.
Boston would?
No, Boston. I'm talking about Miami. I'm talking about Miami right now. Boston don't deserve to be talked about the way they played.
20-point game at that point.
Okay, big dog.
And then you see Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler with a message back to Al Horford from earlier in the series.
Oh, he hit him with the timeout?
Yes,
right on time. Gabe comes up and he splashes one from three.
Yeah, right on time because Gabe Vincent has just taken a seat here with us, and the highlights are almost over. In fact, we already know how this would turn
Gabe Vincent. Shoot that thing, Gabe.
No, he giving it one more. He gave it one more. He gave it up.
Come on, man.
One more.
So it's black.
Yo.
One more. Oh, give me that. Cookies. I mean, the turnovers were just ridiculous. Makes it gotta dunk that, Struce.
An easy game easier.
We gotta windmill that or something. Oh,
wait, we going for the whole full court.
Are you kidding? Yeah, because Gabe's here. Come on, we got to show a
Shaq
full
to the
quarter.
fourth quarter. Struce can't windmill. Let's get that out the way. Yes, he can. Okay, we'll bet on that. He can windmill. Yeah,
Final score.
Stop it, Gabe.
128-102. Miami leads by as many as 33.
This dude was 11 for 14. I didn't know he was 11 for 14.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was 11 for 12.
Enough of the full screen scoreboard.
1 and 9.
Let's give Gabe Vincent some face time here.
How you missed them 3 shots,
inside
Gabe?
the NBA?
I was tripping. I tricked up to 30, man.
Hey, nice to see you, man. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate you coming up.
Thank you for having me.
Career playoff high on this night for you. We continue to watch this team and see contributions from up and down that roster from one night to the next. Explain what the Miami Heat have going right now.
We're just playing good basketball, good team basketball. You know, we know where the ball got to go, and then we play from there. Guys make plays, and we never know who it's going to be. Tonight it's me. It might be somebody else on Tuesday.
You come into this game up 2-0. What was said in the locker room beforehand?
That we need to come out and come out to kill. You know, we can't take our foot off the gas. We know they come in with a sense of urgency, but we had to be urgent as well. You know, this game was important to us, just as it was to them.
Have you ever seen this before?
Never.
So when I was here, this was our theme, 15 strong. It looks similar. You know, at the beginning of the series, I've seen something that I've seen before because of the culture, and I picked you guys to win. It's amazing that Jimmy's a superstar, but he lets you guys do whatever you want to do. So I kind of
show that to the camera real quick,
yes,
Shaq.
This right here was our theme during 2006. It was 15 strong. And the
reason it says on the back?
Yes, on the back it says 15 strongs. And Pat had a little bowl in the middle locker room that he covered up, and he didn't bring it out until we got to the finals. How does it feel to play with a guy that lets you do what you want to do? I mean, because Chuck always said the true definition of a great player is those that makes the one around you better. Yeah. And I'm looking at Jimmy, 13 shots, you 14 shots. Let me be real with you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have got 14 shots to me because I'm.
Oh, I know. I watch you play.
I'm shooting that thing every time.
I'm gonna drop it in and get out of the way.
Yes, I mean, but
you had that.
Chuck.
You had the black and white television with the elephant ears and watch him play.
Rabbit ears, you mean?
Rabbit ears.
Well,
elephant ears.
Well, you played.
You had to change it with your hand.
Yes. Hey, with the pliers.
With the pliers.
No, but I'm saying, but how's it feel to play with a guy like that?
Man, it's amazing. Jimmy's great, man. I mean, he's one of the most unselfish guys I've ever played with, and to be a player of his caliber, to empower guys like myself to go out there and play free. He makes the game easy for me.
Well, for me, I don't know if it's Jimmy. You know, me and Keenan always had this conversation about a coach can't give you confidence, but he can take your confidence away. How does Coach Spo instill in you, all the guys, Caleb, y'all can take any shot you want, and it's like y'all feel comfortable doing it?
Didn't I just ask that question?
No,
yes, I did. Talk about shots. Same thing, Coach Jimmy Butler.
Let the guest answer the question.
The staff has been great too, man. I mean, we know where our shots are coming from. We know when to be aggressive, and that's part of it. But they also letting us be aggressive, and they letting us play. And like I said, the support from our stars, that means the world. You know, those are the guys out there on the court, and they're not coming yelling at us, give us the ball every possession. You know what I mean? And when they are, we do and we play.
Now, you've come in with an aggressive attitude for Game 3. How do you not take your foot off the gas? Game 4, because when they leave to go to Boston, you want to make sure they're the only team going.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It's the first to 4, not first to 3. So the job's far from finished as far as we're concerned. We still got work to do. Obviously, it was a great win back at home in front of our fans, but we got to do work again on Tuesday.
And the reason I said that is because I think all of us have been in teams where we were up 3-0 and to close out. And when you have these 2 days and everybody's patting you on your back, oh, good job. You go to Uber, you go to a restaurant, they cheer as you walk in, and you can let your foot off the gas. When you're on the road, you stay locked in.
Right.
But staying locked in home is going to be, that's difficult.
It's tough. I mean, the closeout game, in my little experience in the playoffs, has always been the most difficult. So regardless, whether we're at home or on the road, it's going to be a battle. You know, they're a really good team. They're a well-coached team. They got stars. they're not going to lay down. So, we got to come in and handle business on Tuesday.
Yeah, clearly you didn't watch the game tonight. Stop. Comment, well coached and don't lay down. Go look at the tape again.
Easy. He can't answer that.
Let me ask you something that I asked Caleb Martin earlier tonight. Because I heard Coach Spo this weekend say, look, we've all heard about this narrative of the undrafted players on our team, but it needs to stop. Because he was saying it sounded disrespectful for him, to him. I think the point is that we're making is, look, Miami has a knack for finding guys who can play in this system. So it's not a knock against you guys, and it's more of a nod to the organization. Are you tired of hearing, yeah, I wasn't drafted?
I mean, I really don't care. I'm a basketball player. I'm going to go play the game, and I'm just trying to stay on the court and help my team win. So the narrative, I'm going to let y'all handle that. Undrafted, drafted, starter, bench player.
Nobody's thinking about that when you get in the game.
As long as we got more points than they do at the end of the game.
And the other thing is, Miami did have a chance to draft you. They didn't do it either. So they figured it out later. You know what I mean? So everybody passed on. It's not just that they got it. You guys have come in, and once you get in to be one of the 385 best players in the world, nobody's looking at that. You got to get it done. You guys are getting it done.
The night before Game 4, what's your ritual? What are you doing?
I'm going to have an early dinner. I'm going to watch a little bit of some tape, some film, a little Epsom salt bath, do a little meditation, and get some sleep.
Good luck. Sounds like Shaq. Sort of.
The Epsom salt bath. That part.
The statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations.
Man, appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all for coming on.
Good job.
Great game.
Good job, baby. Good job.
Continued success, young guy. 128-102 is your final score.
That guy is
the hero's exit for Gabe Vincent.
My goodness.
Miami is up 3-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
You know.
Welcome to the Old Man of the Three with JJ Redick and Tommy Alter. Brought to you by 342 Productions. This is episode 155. J.R. Smith. Just a phenomenal conversation, a phenomenal human being. We talk about this with JR. I've competed against him for years, and this is the first time him and I have ever really sat down and had a conversation. And I'll be honest with you, he's an impressive human being.
Yeah, he's an impressive human being and an all-time podcast guest.
Great storyteller.
Great storyteller, just naturally. Not a try-hard. He just does it. He can tell a story about anything.
We recorded this a few weeks ago. There is pretty much 99% of this is non-topical. So all of it is extremely relevant to JR's story. Speaking of JR's story, he has an Amazon docuseries out, 4-episode docuseries called Redefined, J.R. Smith. And we touch on some of that redefinition that he's had throughout his career. And of course, in his post-career docuseries is very cool. I highly recommend giving it a watch. It gives you, I think, a different perspective on who JR is.
Yeah, it just shows how motivated he is to take, we get into it with him, but just to take these steps in his life when he, could have been more complacent. Yeah. He decided not to be.
So anyways, we'll get to JR in a second. We are right in the middle of the play-in week. Last night's games, the Lakers beat the Timberwolves in overtime, and the Atlanta Hawks, I think in somewhat of a surprise, absolutely destroyed the Miami Heat in Miami, killed them on the offensive glass, 22 offensive rebounds. Clint Capella had 13 of those. Heat, of course, struggled to shoot threes like they have all season outside of Kyle Lowry, who had a big game. It will be interesting to see what happens here with Miami, because I don't think they are going to beat the Bucks, even if they get the 8th seed. And it'll be interesting. I think it'll be an interesting offseason for the Miami Heat.
I would say that was it was a fitting game last night for how they've been all year, and we've got into it a bunch with them all season. It was disappointing, but I don't think it was particularly shocking based off what they've done this season.
Yeah, and in the other side, the Lakers, of course, winning, and now they will face the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm particularly intrigued, I'll be honest, by this series against the Grizzlies. I think there's a lot of interesting basketball storylines. Dylan Brooks had a soundbite yesterday talking about how he wanted the Lakers, and part of the reason, and he acknowledged this, is, you're going against LeBron, and it's a test. It's a test, and he felt like
shocker. Dylan Brooks had a soundbite.
Yeah, well, you know what? I like the consistency of the brand here.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I will also say these guys want to be in the big show. They want to be in this moment. They've wanted to be in this moment since they've made this jump, and now they're here. It's like when you play LeBron and the Lakers, you're in it. Everyone's going to be paying attention. What were your initial thoughts? Crazy game last night. What were your initial thoughts watching it? And then especially the last, minute of fourth quarter and then going into OT.
Not surprised the Timberwolves played well. They shot the shit out of the ball for much of the game and then really faltered down the stretch. Didn't get really great looks. I think they created 3 open looks in the fourth quarter and overtime from 3-point range. Mike Conley was great, of course. I said this on First Take today. My eyebrow raised moment was not that Anthony Davis fouled Mike Conley on that 3-pointer that sent the game into overtime. My eyebrow raised moment was what preceded that foul. And the Wolves, needing a 3, ran a simple flare screen for Mike Conley. And the 2 defenders involved for the Lakers were LeBron and AD, and they completely botched the switch. And I brought this up today, and I think it's important to note this moment because I go back to, first of all, Matt Ryan hit a 3 to beat the Pelicans earlier in the season when he was on the Lakers on a very similar play. There was a little bit of a fake misdirection wheel action prior to the flare screen, but same spot on the floor, same action. So it's not like the Lakers haven't seen that before. But I go back to last year's Game 1, Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors. What turned out to be a very competitive series. Grizzlies up 2 with about 30 seconds to go, and they botch a switch. Klay Thompson gets an open 3, and then Ja Morant misses the layup. So that's a pivotal moment in a game. I go back to 2020. Lakers this time on the other end of it. Anthony Davis hits a 3-pointer down 1 against the Nuggets at the buzzer in the Western Conference Finals. Mason Plumlee had just gotten substituted into the game. Him and Will Barton botch a switch. Like, you can't have that happen at the end of a pivotal game like this.
In a playoff game.
Like, if someone draws up an insanely detailed play with misdirection and it just perfect timing, like the wheel action or the victory play that Brad Stevens used that Klay Thompson, the Warriors, had earlier this year when Klay hit a 3, where they throw it across court. Klay gets a screen up top and then gets a rescreen going back towards the ball. Like, to me, if you get beat on that play, okay, all right. But this is what's important in the playoff times. I broke down last year the Toronto Raptors botching a switch, point switching like this, and Joel Embiid hits a game winner. So that, to me, was the eyebrow raised moment, not that he fouled him.
Well, they had a few of these mental mistakes down the stretch. They had 2 different inbounds. They didn't really get burned on either of them. Obviously, Prince missed the 3 at the end of OT, but those are just giveaways. I mean, there's nothing else to it besides that. And it's kind of like, to your point, you can't really win in May if you're doing that. Maybe you get 1 a game or something like that, but you can't do it.
And it's puzzling because one of those turnovers on the inbounds play was LeBron.
Yeah.
And so LeBron and AD, 2 guys you don't think would mess up a simple switch. LeBron turning the ball over in inbounds. The other one was Austin Reeves. Like, I don't know. I want to preview this series a little bit, though, Lakers and Grizzlies. So Grizzlies are the favorites, according to DraftKings Sportsbook. They're minus 125, Lakers at plus 105. There's a bunch of cool stuff that you can draft on this. Series length, over-under, series correct score, exact number of games, all this stuff. When I look at this matchup, let's first of all start with the fact that Memphis has home court. They have been, I think they were 35-6 at home this season. That's important to me. And that's not to say LeBron and the Lakers can't go win on the road, but Memphis is really good at home. One of the things to look for for the Lakers specifically is their turnovers, because they had some turnovers last night. LeBron had some turnovers last night. They have to limit their turnovers. The Lakers have the 4th best defense post All-Star break in the entire NBA. Memphis has been a top 3 defense all season long. Memphis needs transition points. They need fast break points. That's how they win. And if you're turning the ball over against the Grizzlies, you're going to be in trouble.
Some of this going to come down to D'Angelo's health.
Well, so I think D'Angelo's got to play well, and he's got to be healthy. He finished the season so strong for them over his last 13, 19 a game, shot 42% from 3. I'll give you a couple matchups, right? Of course, Dylan Brooks is going to guard LeBron. Like, there's a matchup for you, of course. The 2 matchups that I think are really intriguing to me are going to be Austin Reeves and Desmond Bane, 2 guys that both finished the season playing excellent basketball. Bane, I think, had a great season. I know he missed a ton of time with the toe injury. 22 a game since March 1st. 50% from the field, 40% from 3. Reeves at 18 a game since March 1st. Over his last 20 games played, 42% from 3. The production in the half court for those 2 players specifically, I think, is going to be really, really important, because both these teams at times struggle to score in the half court. So those are 2 guys I'm looking for. And then the other one, of course, with Brandon Clark being out for the year, Steven Adams likely being out the rest of the season, even if Memphis makes a deep playoff run, is Jaren Jackson Jr. on Anthony Davis, and how much they attack that matchup and try to get Jaren Jackson Jr. in foul trouble.
So Darvin Ham mentioned this after the game last night. Even though AD had a good game, sort of counting stats wise, it get 24 and 15.
Yep.
He said they should have gotten him involved more. That was on him, basically. Is that something you think game 1, basically just like almost like run everything offensively through him and see if you can try to kind of coax Jackson to a couple dumb fouls early?
We've seen this a lot with the Lakers since AD joined, where LeBron makes it a point to get him the basketball early in the games, early in halves, early in quarters. LeBron picks and chooses his spots depending on whether or not AD's on the floor, depending on whether it's closing time. So I think it's going to be a huge emphasis this series to give the ball to Anthony Davis, who, by the way, I just want to say this because I know we talked earlier this week about my all-league teams, my all-NBA teams. Like, he met my threshold for games. I consider Anthony Davis a center, and so I didn't have him over Sabonis, but he had an all-NBA season in the games that he played. He was great this year. It's something where he's been sort of ridiculed a little bit over the last 2 seasons. The guy was awesome when he was on the basketball floor this year.
Well, obviously, then you talked about Jaren with Defensive Player of the Year. Both these guys, it's two all NBA caliber centers. The other thing I was going to ask about last night, the Lakers did a good job on Ant. Is there something about the way they defended him?
Welcome along to our Champions League studio. I'm Kate Abdo, joined by Alex Scott, Jamie Carragher, and Micah Richards. What a great set of fixtures, by the way, we have got ahead for you on this match day 1. Big Meeks, Manchester City getting underway later. You've got Jamie going down memory lane with Liverpool, AC Milan, always a classic fixture. And Alex, well, she's here for complete impartiality because her team didn't make it. Welcome back. It is good to have you back with us. I missed you.
Thank you. It's good to be back. But yeah, let's not talk about Arsenal. What else we got? Let's go.
Most important.
Oh no!
It's not me, Kobe. I understand. Did it?
Ready?
can't wait to use these in some of my recipes. There's one in particular I think it'll work great in. I'd like my brother Wellart to try my new Shimmer Stout. He's a mountaineer, stationed in the Southern Guard Tower, one of 2 towers on the border to Loch Modan. He may not be a brewer like the rest of us barley brews, but he loves his drinks, and I know he'll like this one. Can you bring him this barrel of Shimmer Stout for me?
Not bad, adventurer. Did you have a hard time getting past their guard? No matter. Many thanks. And if you're ever in need of stout with a kick, don't forget the barley brews.
Hey, buddy.
50 hours. Okay, turning it on now.
I'm sure you
You're wrong for that.
teams, but when you're the presenter of a show, I'm sure you have to be impartial, not show no emotion, whether that's in victory or defeat. And there was something that we saw. Okay. She's crying.
No, I wasn't crying. Let's not go
Unbiased
overboard.
presenter.
I think she shed a tear.
From hero to zero.
She can't believe it.
Oh,
I can't be used to it
Did
now.
that hurt, Kate? Did that hurt?
That's the only accent I've never heard you do.
A Brummie?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me?
Come on.
Come on, you do all the different languages.
No, I just said I really like it. I find it very attractive, actually.
You like that?
I find it very attractive. I do, don't mind me.
Jamie Carragher's listening in right now, so I need you to be my captain a little bit. And I know that you saw what went on yesterday's show.
And he's trying
Tell
to,
me right to the camera.
When he's
chill
trying to
out.
get you to propose.
Oh my God, too much.
Jamie, do better. Not on Valentine's Day. Not when she's there. Come on. So yeah, I've got you back there. And you should have protected yourself a little bit more though.
I was trying to. I needed my shield.
Big names in the studio right now.
It's a lot.
Crumbled a bit.
I thought I handled it pretty well.
Yeah,
at
it was
least.
okay. It was okay, but yeah.
All right, dude. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Yeah, mate.
Nice evening.
Yeah.
Big names in the studio.
Hey, listen, I want that man in a red shirt, so I'm going to do whatever he tells me to do. So if Jude Bellingham's got any more advice than me, I'm taking it all day, my friend.
You know what? You sound quite desperate right now.
For Jude Bellingham?
Yeah.
I am. We are!
What did you think of the impact that he managed to make on the game?
He's a class act, isn't he? I mean, we've been talking about him for years now. I think when he mentioned that in his interview about, the captain and everything like that, it's just class, whether he's in a defensive role, whether he's in an attacking role, his effect on the game, his game intelligence, he's just got it all. I think, big things for his future ahead.
I mean, the thing I like from the interview,
As well as yesterday, we all went out for dinner, right? And there was a guy who came up to you. There was a few people that came up to all of you guys and took pictures, but there was one who came up to you specifically and said, "We hate you, but we respect you."
Right.
And that's kind of what you can earn yourself playing in a football arena like this. He also said that after Landon Donovan, you were the best player that the US had ever had.
She had to throw that in there. In the game. She had to throw that in there.
Teammate.
You've done every other accent on this show. Give us an American
She's done
one.
Italian, she's done Spanish,
Get lost.
she's done German. Come on, let's see American accent.
No, I can't do it.
Come on.
I can't.
We can do it. We've heard it.
No,
Rehearsal.
Yes, go on. Yeah, let's put you on the side. Come on.
Get lost. This is because Pete Radovich.
Who's your boss? Come on.
I can't.
You
I'm
can
on
do
the
it.
spot. I
We've written
can't
the
do
script
it.
especially for you, an American.
Jeez. I can't. No, I'm under pressure. I'll do it in Liverpool.
The Champions League final is where the stage where the stars are born and the legends are made, and today it is a very special arena for the United States of America, the land where Babe Ruth made baseball the national pastime. Michael Jordan set a new standard on the hardwood, and Tom Brady redefined the quarterback position. Well, now, like those greats, Christian Pulisic could get the opportunity to take his sport, soccer.
So I'll start this off. Let's go. You've been accused on social media of switching your accent from time to time. The question is, why do you do that, Kate?
Okay, listen. I don't...
Oh, that was American. The listen was American.
Was
okay,
it?
Listen. Okay, let's go.
Okay, listen. I don't mean to switch my accent. I'm just one of those people. I pick up accents easily, and so I tend to kind of go towards wherever I am. So if I'm around a bunch of people in Manchester, I will sound more Manc.
So you're fake?
And if I'm around, not fake, adaptable.
Well, if you're adaptable, can you do an impression of any of us?
Anyway, anyhow.
Who was that?
No, you know you say that. You know
But
you.
you didn't say it with the you know.
Anyway,
so that's
anyhow,
Thierry.
with the sauce. I didn't say it with the same. And with that, a very happy International Women's Day, everybody. Welcome inside our London studio on this massive Champions League Wednesday. I'm Kate Abdo, and for you soap opera lovers on the East Coast who've just been watching The Bold and the Beautiful, don't worry, we have more Bold and Beautiful for you right here. We've also got Micah Richards. Welcome along.
Ooh, estás well.
Come on, man. This is what we do.
Really, Kate?
Yeah?
Really?
Huh? We've got a big surprise coming up for everybody today. Can't reveal what it is yet.
Ooh, big surprise.
Big surprise. It was an eventful night sitting next to Micah Richards in this studio. Just take a listen to his reaction to the first goal.
Oh, wow. I'm an insurance. Have you got insurance? Yes! Kevin!
The pastor jumped.
But listen, this has to be analysed. When you talk about some of the technicians we had on the show today, Kroos, Modric, Kevin De Bruyne, Silva, no one produced a better first touch and control of a situation than Micah Richards with the pass there.
What's this here?
Look at this. He thinks he's lost it, miscontrolled it, and look at this. Look at this. Forget your Luka Modric, we've got Micah. Big Meeks is back.
You see the control? Big Link's just got...
What can I get for you today? See you soon.
I don't know how we carry on from there. Take a look at the second goal. Gabriel Jesus then with a welcome along to London, everybody. I'm Kate Abdo, joined by the Champions League winner with Barcelona, Thierry Henry, Champions League winner with Liverpool, Jamie Carragher, and the man with 5 appearances in the Champions League, Micah Richards.
That's
welcome.
Kate, that's cold-blooded, that is. That's cold. That is that because Man United the fight?
Do you,
Can I get a go home now? I've got to pick up this show then.
Out of interest, do you know your record in the Champions League appearances?
It wasn't great to me. It was a new team coming in towards it. You know what I mean? We started from where we are now.
He was building the foundations.
Exactly. For the ones that could do it now, we was building them foundations.
Hey, remind me again. It was 2 wins, 3 losses.
Ooh.
Against? Who did you win
We
against?
play some big teams in there, Bayern and all that, but I don't want to talk about it.
You don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
It is one of those days, or it has been one of those days for me at least. Actually, I think for a number of us, where it can be hard to get your words out at times. We had Jens Lehmann call Micah Michael. We had Micah call Jens Lens. We had Jamie called Alex Alice. We can actually add another one to this list as well now, if you just want to take a look at the situation with our cups here in the studio. And if you can read that, we got Micah, we got Peter, and in the middle, we got Jaime. Somebody's got a little bit confused with their vowels there, but yeah, Jaime, I think we could work with that for you. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Fix your voice to Jaime.
Welcome back, everybody. Back by popular
gosh.
demand. It is time for the Champions League knockout round edition of In the Mixer. Remember, there are no wrong answers. There are only your answers. Are we ready? Question number 1. The one football manager in history you wished you had played for but didn't. Micah, you can start.
Pep Guardiola. I mean, what he would do with me, he would take me to a next level.
Not sure.
Somewhere I've never been before. Really, Thierry? Really?
No, just, I was like, no, I don't know. Joking.
Do you have an answer?
Mourinho.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Okay.
Why? Because I would have liked him to upset me sometimes, because he was like that. He was
Negative, classed as a negative type of manager, like a defensive, what would that have
No, upset me. Like, he wasn't scared of taking a player half time or whatever, trying to wind me up, because sometimes I needed that.
I've got 2. Sorry. One would be Bill Shankly.
Oh, okay, I get that.
Just listening to like the clips and the interviews, but the person who I think is maybe the number 1 person in the history of football is probably Johan Cruyff in terms of a player and a manager, and he feels like he has just influenced football in terms of Pep Guardiola, the way the game's played. So Johan Cruyff as well.
Good answers, all of them. 2, the most nervous you have ever been as a professional footballer. Jamie.
The most nervous I would be, I would say the Champions League final of 2007. Whoa. Even people may think, well, you played in one in 2005. In 2005, I couldn't believe I was there. It was like, I didn't ever believe I would play in a final. It was like, yes, you want to win, but enjoy it. In 2007, it felt like I could be a player who's won the European Cup twice. Not many players have done that. And it was strange. I felt more nervous in 2007.
You thought about losing instead of winning.
Yes. I felt a lot more nervous 2007, exactly like Thierry said.
I understand that. Me, Euro 2000 semi-final against Portugal in Brussels. I explain quickly. It's because during the national anthem, I started to think about my granddad that passed just before the tournament. And he told me, typical granddad, I had the dream that you guys were going to win it. And because he wasn't there anymore, I didn't want to let him down. And I thought about it during the national anthem. I didn't think about it the whole tournament, and I thought about it during the national anthem. And this is why I scored in that game. I pointed into the sky. I just felt like I didn't want to let him down. And I wasn't myself. It was weird at that particular moment for a little while. Yeah, that's the game.
You better have a good answer after that story.
Well, is this what I mean? just go last. No one asked you, Thierry. Spoiling our dreams, honest to God. I don't want to go next. Next question, man.
Are you skipping?
I'm skipping.
All right, cool. Question number 3. Who will win the Premier League this season?
Arsenal.
You know what?
Oh, you don't make predictions.
That was him.
That was you. You
No,
just said Arsenal.
it was me that said no prediction.
Oh, sorry, my
But
bad.
I'm not. No,
I apologise. I apologise.
Nice to know the host listens to me, isn't
No,
it?
but hey, I do. You know. Anyway. Oh, me? Sorry. Arsenal. Just but my heart took over my head on this.
Make a prediction, like it.
Well, if you've two gone Arsenal, I'm going to go City. I do think Arsenal, but
No, we're not asking you
I
this.
do think Arsenal, but I'm going to go City.
I do think Arsenal. You got to hedge your best, baby.
Your all-time favourite superhero?
Wow. Superhero.
Wow.
Superman. It's got to be Superman.
Superman?
It's a bit...
He didn't have no powers.
What do you mean? He used to fly through the air.
He's flying. He used to get beat up all the time.
He saved Manhattan.
So did I.
It's got to be Superman. The Superman film's amazing. Dealing with Lex Luthor. Who else has dealt with Lex Luthor like
For me,
that?
Wolverine.
Wolverine, now we're talking.
Wolverine,
Okay.
because he can, you know, he just can't die, basically. And I always wondered if I, you know, always...
No.
Wait, what did you always wonder?
No, this is it. Like, I always said to myself, I ask question, what will I, you know, I know I'm not getting into your seat, right? But when you ask people, what power would you like to have, it's to heal people. And Wolverine had the power to heal it himself. So that's why I always...
Superman saved the world.
Well, that's my answer.
Hulk. Hulk, of course.
Why?
For obvious reasons.
You feel like you relate?
You won't like him when he's angry.
Exactly.
Interesting question here. Will the United States of America win the World Cup in your lifetime?
Hell
Jim?
no.
No chance. No chance.
No chance.
That's tough.
No, I think it's
I don't think
evolving.
he will.
The country's so big like that. It's producing.
Look,
bit by bit, it's getting better. So I'm going to say...
I think if they get the act together,
yes,
they can manage something. Winning it after comes to a lot of things when you win
How
it.
did they get their act together? Need a new manager?
You know, we need a new show to go through that.
I think if they hire Thierry Henry, I might change my answer.
He's flashing!
You have already shared your favourite football movie of all time. Now tell us your favourite non-sports movie of all time. Jamie?
Easy.
What?
Easy.
Non-sports
It's
movie, just a
easy.
regular, whatever movie.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
What?
Jack Nicholson.
Shocking.
It won
School
every
choice.
Academy Award
Shocking.
you could possibly win. Jack Nicholson, the greatest film of all time.
Maybe give us something from the last 10 years, Mike.
American Gangster.
Oh,
My man.
Denzel. Yes, of course.
No one will play a better role than R.P. McMurphy.
R.P. McMurphy.
That was Jack Nicholson in the film, R.P. McMurphy. Nurse Ratchet.
Who was it? What's his name?
Nurse Ratchet.
Okay, Thierry, what you got?
The color purple.
Oh, okay.
That's deep.
No, he impacted me as
I've got to give a little mention as well to the usual suspects.
How can you kill the color purple? Look at like, please. It just impacted me as a young black man. That's it.
Amen, understand. Biggest trash talker you have ever played against?
Oh, easy. Clint Dempsey. Oh, yeah.
Who are you talking to, Dad?
Yeah, you know how it goes.
Trash talker.
You know the lingo. He talks so much. I was going to swear then. I'm out of contract.
I'd say Craig Bellamy.
Ooh.
That's a good one. I was never in his zone,
Yeah.
so it's for me. I would say he shouldn't have done it, but it was Robbie Savage.
Oh,
like you were just like, please carry on talking because
be careful.
Because what?
No, because we were going. You know, I like it, wind me up, but you won't be able to match it after. So stop talking. Like
so what
when you talk like that normally, no disrespect, Robbie. Yeah? But when you talk like that, you have to back it up. If you can't back it up, just don't talk.
You said he couldn't back it up?
Well, every time we played, not often.
I feel like you'd have been a decent trash talker, wouldn't you?
To my own team, not to the opposition.
Oh, yeah?
What's the point?
I used to
you're
get
not- it's
frustrated
true.
with my own team, not the opposition.
It's true.
I like this one. Name 3 MLS teams. Micah Richards, you go first.
3 MLS teams?
Yeah, go ahead.
New York Red Bulls.
What if he's Red Bulls, Galaxy, and LAFC is simple.
All right, cool.
Real
Name
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Real Salt Lake City.
Who are they?
Please, why?
Who?
Why are you like that?
Into Miami.
Yes.
Into Miami. I said. I give him the first one, New York Red Bulls, so I can have that one as well.
Toronto.
I know, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Toronto.
Toronto what?
Don't worry.
What's the name?
It don't matter.
Okay, what?
What do you mean, don't matter?
It doesn't matter.
What's the name? Toronto what?
Look at the awkwardness on your face. FC. Okay, go on.
What he played there?
Please
Come
leave me
on.
alone. You respect
I know,
me.
okay.
No, it's okay. Next. Come
Next
on.
one. During the height of your career, would you have switched clubs and played for your arch rival for triple the money?
Oh, you know me. I'm all about the
Terry.
Benjamins, baby.
Terry, could you ever have played for Spurs?
Oh, please. I'm leaving. What the? No, joking aside. Actually, I wasn't joking on that one. But no. And I had the opportunity and I declined.
Spurs coming for you?
Actually.
For triple the money?
No. But exactly for what you said. And I said no.
Who came in for you?
I won't say.
Man United?
No.
What? It's got to be a rival of Arsenal.
No. I won't say. You can say whatever you say. I will say no all the way.
I wouldn't have done that, no.
Triple the money?
No. To sign for Everton or Man United, no.
Oh, hold on.
You said yes, it's
You're
okay.
Everton
Next.
fan?
No, I know what can I do as a kid. I ended up at Liverpool. I didn't know I was going to play for Liverpool when I was a kid.
It's not the same.
Micah?
I'll give him that. It's not the same.
I've already said.
He said yes.
You said
He
yes?
said he'd
He
go.
said all day, every day.
Quick.
No, I wouldn't go. I was.
Are we,
He said he
Yeah,
was
okay.
tongue in cheek.
Yeah, okay. One final question. You are allowed to listen to one song for the rest of your life. No other music ever. Name your song.
In My Life by the Beatles.
I knew you were going to go Beatles.
Ooh, that is a good question, that. Ooh.
It's very difficult for me to name a song, but it has to be Kassav.
Who?
Creole group, very famous.
Okay.
Who are they?
As your grandma, she'll know. Kassav, that's the question. The song of Kassav. It doesn't matter which one.
I think I'm going Drizzy Drake.
Oh, Lord.
Who's he play for?
Drizzy Drake.
Drizzy Drake.
Drake.
What?
Headlines. I'm going Drake.
Oh, Drizzy. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Drizzy Drake.
Want to give us a couple of bars as we go to break?
I think we need a couple of Brazilian bars.
What? Oh, you could... Well, the Champions League is back, and so, by popular demand, is one of our favourite segments, America's favourite segments, they say, In the Mixer. Remember, there are no wrong answers in this one. There's only your answers, fellas, but we're keeping it short and sweet. Random questions. First one to you, Jamie. If you could be any player in the world today, you would be...
Mo Salah.
Kylian.
Of course.
Without doubt.
Not a shock.
Mbappe.
Yeah, Mbappe twice. All right. What is the most hostile stadium you have ever played in?
Wow, Star Stadium. Bastia. Furiani.
Galatasaray.
Ooh. Stoke and Trent.
Stoke? Stoke?
Mate.
They don't even know where Stoke is.
Don't disrespect Stoke, honestly.
Mike, I think this one goes to you. Best nightlife, Paris, London, Barcelona, New York City, or Liverpool?
It's definitely
disrespect Liverpool.
Harrogate. I'm only joking. No, New York.
NYC.
NYC?
Without doubt.
Liverpool. All day on the Dock Road.
Have you been on a night out in New York?
Plenty of times. They tell you there's a bar there called Carragher's.
We heard. I've been to the bar. Have you been to the bar called Carragher's?
Plenty of times, yeah. Give my name, you don't have to pay a penny.
I tell you what, this one is actually for you, Micah, because you had a big night out last weekend, did you?
Hold on.
We were
Depends who's asking.
We were together.
What do you recommend as the best cure for a hangover?
Ooh, what did you give me? Them tablets that you've just given me?
Have they worked?
What are they called? I'm just coming round now.
I don't know.
Go on, what do you do?
Best hangover, I don't know. Chicken. Loads of chicken and loads of water.
Chicken?
Chicken, yeah. Get the protein back in your body, for sure.
A cure.
What's that?
Another bevy.
No chance.
Do you drink?
Water, I guess, before you go to sleep. A lot of water.
Oh, how sensible.
A few more drinks.
Where will Romelu Lukaku play next season?
Wow.
Oof. Chelsea.
I'll say Chelsea.
Inter Milan.
Oh, it's going back. All right. Who will be the Champions League Golden Boot winner this season?
Wow.
Mo Salah.
Kylian.
They won't go far enough.
We'll see, mate. You'll see.
Lewandowski.
Lewandowski?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on
Who's
to
top
my...
scorer at the moment?
It's a good question. Who's top scorer at the moment? Aller.
Toddy.
Sebastian.
Oh, well, he's got no chance.
Tomorrow night, you can see him in action. Okay, so...
Say it again. Aller.
Aller, I believe,
Aller.
in French.
Problème. J'adore.
Favourite question of the night, this one, is who does the griddy better? Christian Pulisic or our very own Jamie Carragher?
Where am I looking?
What is that bit you keep...
It's that, isn't it?
I thought it was the... do we have video?
No? Here we go.
So Christian tonight, that's his rendition.
It's like you do your feet and then you bring it up.
Oh, I thought it went over your eyes.
No.
I thought it was like glasses.
Show me. More shuffle in your feet. One.
Nice movement, though, Jamie. What is the funniest thing that an opponent has said to you on the pitch?
You don't know where I'm from, dog.
And who was that for the record?
Dempsey said that to me when he was at Fulham. I tackled him and he pushed me. I said, don't push you. You don't know where I'm from, dog. I was like, really? Really?
It's one's just come to me. It wasn't what someone said. It was actually, I was playing against Chelsea one game, and George Weah, he went there for 6 months on loan, and I put a challenge in. And he just sort of turned me around, pushed me around as if like, who are you? And like wanted to look at my name, you know, on the back.
That's disrespectful. That is disrespectful.
I've seen that one with... Cesc did that once, Cesc Fabregas. Well, I don't have a lot of funny one. The one that I found funny that people might not is when people are asking for my shirt. I'm like, we're playing and you ask for my shirt. I found that a bit weird. I found it funny in my way.
Have you ever asked for anyone's shirt?
While playing?
No, but at any time in your career, I mean, as a young player or...
Yeah, I did.
Who?
Ronaldo. R9, eh?
The real Ronaldo?
The real one.
R9.
The real one?
Yeah, growing up. Yeah.
He's the goal.
How many Ronaldo did you know when you were growing up?
No, only one. What I'm saying is to call him the real Ronaldo.
Yeah, always.
Now when we've got Ronaldo
in the
tomorrow.
game, people will say the real one. Cristiano. Ronaldo is R9. Cristiano is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay, finish this sentence. If I wasn't a professional footballer, I would have been a...
model.
Okay.
What were you going to be modeling for?
Gloves. Balaclavas.
What would have been? Helmet? Where were we?
What's the next question?
It's the same question. Neither of you two have answered it.
What's the question again?
If I wasn't a professional footballer, I would have been a...
What's going on? Am I the joke here? I don't know. I would have been... It wouldn't have been a model. I'd have been hosting Champions League football on CBS.
I don't know. Terry.
This guy was going to model for helmets. Just leave. No, seriously, wow, that's a tough one for me. That's a tough one for me. You said professional footballer.
Huh?
You said what was the question? If I was... The question. Give me the question. You see, you moved it.
Just show Micah's face a second, because he's...
Oh, my gosh.
Poor man.
Tears. Professional footballer, you said. If I wasn't a
If
professional...
you weren't a professional footballer, what would you have been?
An amateur footballer.
Huh? An amateur footballer. All right. You'd have been broke.
I still play football.
Welcome back to the Stade de France. By popular demand, it is time for the Champions League final edition of In the Mixer. By now, you guys all know how to play. Remember, there are no wrong answers, there are only your answers, gentlemen.
Okay.
Here we go. First question. In the year 2022, which is more difficult to win, the Champions League or the Premier League? What are you rolling your eyes for?
Because I know what he's going to say.
Champions League.
And you're bothered, Micah?
No, Premier League's harder to win.
There's not one team who's won more Champions Leagues than leagues. There's one who's actually Nottingham Forest.
It's a good argument, that, Micah.
Yeah, but it's not. Leagues over 38 games. Blood, sweat and tears. Who did you get in the...
Yeah, we saw those tears in the semi-final. Don't worry about that.
Terry, do you want to have the deciding vote?
Premier League. The league.
All right. Camila Cabello is going to be performing here shortly. What is the last concert you attended, Thierry Henry?
Last concert?
Yes.
Texas.
What?
Yeah, concert, you said.
I don't know that. Is it a band?
You don't know that group?
In
It's a group,
Texas.
Oh.
You don't know Texas, the group?
Sorry, no, I didn't.
Oh, wow.
Dua Lipa.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Possibilities. That's why we... Possibilities tonight.
Is that big? Is that big? Drake, yes.
Oh, did you?
Give
Where?
us a bit of Drake.
A little bit of Drake.
Oh,
wow.
We're going to move.
Got nothing. You got one penalty to save your life. Which player in history of football do you ask to take it, Thierry?
Oof.
Wow.
Not you?
You're not banking on yourself?
I missed a lot, but I'll go with myself. Yeah, you're right, Jimmy. I'll go with myself.
Yeah. I will go with Ronald Koeman.
Oh, very good.
Ronald Koeman. I would go with James Ward-Prowse. Excellent.
Oh, sorry?
James Ward-Prowse.
Oh, okay.
After that fabulous
James.
penalty of yours that we all saw?
James, but you don't go with yours.
You're not about to show it again, are you?
No, I don't think so.
No, he
Don't
can,
do this to
he
me.
can
Not today,
finish.
please.
James
Okay.
Ward-Prowse can finish, yes.
Are we ready? The most money that you have spent in a single night out on the town. Thierry, it may well have been last night when you tweeted.
Last night.
Problem.
For real, huh? You know?
Do you want to know?
Come on.
Oh, do we not want to know?
We do want to know.
I'm going to judge you, Micah. Am I going to judge you?
$80,000.
Stop it.
Yes.
What?
LA.
What?
What?
Yes. 10 years ago.
What on?
What did you do?
Oh, I don't want to ask.
One of the bottles was about 30.
Did you buy a car?
What?
Mad.
$80,000.
Yes.
Wow. Any regrets?
Oh, yes. I had a lot of
It's still recovering.
There's been a few.
Why do you think I work so much?
Best French food you have eaten. Have you eaten any French food since you've been here, Jamie?
I had snails last night.
Did you eat them?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know you did.
Yeah.
Oh, well done. And was it the best French food you've eaten since you've been here?
Yeah, it was lovely. Absolutely fantastic. It was...
You had ice cream for pudding, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Vanilla.
Vanilla ice cream, yeah.
Micah?
No, I wasn't on the snails, no.
No.
No French food.
Why
I'm
not?
sorry.
Not adventurous.
No, what do you mean?
For me, no, sorry.
No snails?
No escargot. No snails. No.
What about the wine?
Oh, very good. What was it called?
Oh, I forgot, to be fair. You guys had the bottle. I never saw that bottle.
Okay, CBS has upped your bonus. I didn't know there were bonuses, by the way. Interesting. Has upped your bonus this year, so money is no object for this question. You own a team, you could buy one player from either Liverpool or Real Madrid to build your team around. Who is it going to be? Thierry?
Van Dijk.
Van Dijk.
Oh.
Van Dijk.
Ooh.
It's a hat trick.
3 for 3. Okay. One club that you wish you had played for, but you didn't. Micah?
Ooh, the Arsenal, the mighty Arsenal.
Oh,
yes.
Why? Why is that?
Civil play.
No, why is that?
To play with Titi, yeah?
Wow,
Jamie?
that's a tough one.
I would go with Barcelona.
Not Everton.
No, I couldn't say that now. No, Barcelona as a kid, that was the team I used to love.
Thierry?
Wow. Team, let me think.
Take your time, man.
No, it's a tough one. But I'm going to have to go. Obviously, we all know. But Liverpool.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one coming.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, this next one I think is an interesting one. If you had to guess, do you think that Karim Benzema knows who Micah Richards is?
No. No, and no.
Hold up. I think we should give people a bit of context just in case they missed this, right? So for anybody who did miss it when it actually happened, Micah Richards gave us some insight on Karim Benzema. Round of 16, 2022. You said, before then weren't really so sure, but now, round of 16, 2022, he's really convinced me that he's as good as Harry Kane.
No. That's what I'm saying. You're mixing up words here, Kane.
No, I rewatched it this morning. That's almost a quote.
No, I'm just saying, he was in Ronaldo's shadow before. Now he's come out there. He's shining. And yes, top player. Top player.
So, Jamie, do you think he knows who he is?
He hasn't got a clue who he is. I'll be pleased if he knows who I am.
Thierry?
No.
No?
No.
Straight no.
Or maybe after what you said,
well,
he went to research what you did.
The good thing is.
I'm a Premier League, son.
Hey. You and your French accent. The good thing is, we can tell you, Micah. We can figure it out. Have a watch.
Tell me what?
Karim, ¿conoces a Micah Richards? El del Manchester City que digo de ti que luego, pero que luego ya no, que ha cambiado de idea. Está contento. He says hello.
It's nothing but love. Nothing but love for Big Meeks. Everyone loves a bit of Big Meeks.
I enjoyed
that's
that.
cool.
3 most impressive celebrity phone numbers you have programmed in your phone.
Wow.
Name them.
Wow. Impressive. I don't know. I'm not really.
Okay, three most famous people you got.
Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry, Balotelli.
I will go for me with the GOAT in sport. If you involve sport, his name will come out. Roger Federer.
Ooh. Okay.
That's
the other
one.
two?
What's
one
the
and
other two?
only. No, one and only. It was one, not a question.
I'm going Thierry Henry, Alex Ferguson, and Jurgen Klopp.
Alex Ferguson.
Yes.
Was it 1 or 3? Now I'm confused.
The 3.
It was,
the
it
question
was 1.
3.
It was 1. I saw it.
No, the question was 3. I'm telling you, the question was 3. There you go. Okay, final question. Only one answer to this one, really. The Beatles, Oasis, or Biggie? Micah.
Oh, behave. How was Oasis even in this? You cannot bring Oasis into that with the Beatles and Biggie.
Legendary British band, Jamie.
Oh. Oasis are fantastic.
Flopped in America.
I don't think that's true.
It is. Oasis.
They didn't flop. I mean, that's a bit strong, Jamie.
Come on.
Go on.
They didn't do what the Beatles did they?
The Beatles were special.
Yes.
All right.
I'm going B.I.G. American audience. Biggie.
Okay, you gave us no Drake. Give us Biggie.
Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your word just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy way.
I like a bit of Biggie. I might go for Biggie, actually.
Jamie's shoulder movement is something special.
Wait till you see me later.
Obviously, you're gonna have to see them. Look at how big they are. The size of my head.
It is a start. Hopefully we can take advantage of it and move some mountaineers in to secure the area. Then we can begin to restore our infrastructure and get the miners back to work. Thank you for your assistance, adventurer.
See you soon.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Why Diablo 2 players hate Diablo 4? Well, apparently this person speaks for all Diablo 2 players. Here we go. Let's see what he has to say.
Diablo 4 is now a spin-off version of Diablo 3, Path of Exile, and World of Warcraft. The RNG random number generator game mechanics that made Diablo 2 the greatest game of all time through randomized loot, dungeons, monster spawns, and even skill damage ability, gave you a new experience every time you logged on to the game and has given the player base infinite replay value for 20 years. Diablo 4 has now evolved into a repetitive gameplay style that gives you the same experience over and over. That is less rewarding and is for the casual player base and MMORPG.
I mean, I would assume that with Diablo 2, most people probably fall off on the game really fast too. Like, they probably do the campaign, they probably farm whatever the highest difficulty is for a while, and then they stop playing. Same as Diablo 3. That's the way these games are designed.
Based game
Not back in the day? Well, I mean, back in the day, you can't really compare what it was like back in the day, because back in the day, you didn't have 50,000 other fucking games. You had one game. So, of course, you were only going to play Diablo 2, because you only had Diablo 2. The only other game you might have is Diablo 1. So yeah, of course it was totally different back then, but like, I'm talking about nowadays. Like, I'm sure you can look at Twitch tracker, Diablo 2. Categories, Diablo 2 Resurrected. Yeah, I mean, you have the same thing happen, right? Where it's like the first day of a season, a lot of people watch, and then people fall off. Now, I would argue that interest in watching a game is roughly correlated in interest playing a game. I mean, this is not a hot take, right? Seasons are done to refresh that interest. And this is also not a bad thing. That's the way seasonal games are made. Everybody plays at the beginning. It's the same as Path of Exile. It's the same as every other seasonal game. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Now, I've been considered one of the most controversial Diablo 2 content creators for my critical opinions and somewhat of an outcast because of them.
Okay.
98% of Diablo-specific content creators are partnered with Blizzard. This is probably why you have never seen me use the hashtag DiabloPartner. I've always expressed myself to the fullest and never tried to gain the approval of everybody, which is an impossible task when fully being yourself. The game is my love and passion, though. I will be as old as Decker King going on a rant about game.
I kind of don't like this language, and the reason why I don't like it is like what he's implying is that everybody else on this list is like fake and saying things that aren't true and that are illegitimate. And I think that's kind of unfair. Like, it's very weird because, like, how do you know that they don't think this? How do you know that, you know, they're just not, like, because there are people that like the game, right? Like, you can expect that there are people that like Diablo 4 in the same way that, like, I am not a big fan of FIFA. But I think it would be stupid for me to say that everybody who likes FIFA is getting paid or is artificially pretending to like FIFA. No. It's just that other people like the game. And I don't like the game. That doesn't mean that they're paid or this is some kind of conspiracy. People just have different interests. I feel like we've watched many videos of Riker and Mr. Llama being critical of the game. This is not unreasonable. Anyone on Maxroll. The biggest Diablo 4 meme is because of the guy that runs it. What are you talking about? It's the rack 17 damage meme. This is not even true.
The game is my love and passion, though. I will be as old as Decker King going on a rant about game mechanics. and just my overall love for the game. All of my opinions come from a place of love, and I want Diablo to be in the spotlight like it should have been for the past 20 years. So let's talk about how the Diablo 4 game mechanics work. I will explain to you how Diablo 4 has now evolved into a repetitive experience from a Diablo 2 player perspective. Explaining the core game mechanics that are important to understand for the long-term success of Diablo 4 or any Diablo game. Diablo's unique gameplay style and replay value is possible through the term RNG, the random number generator.
Well, they have that in Diablo 4, because if they didn't, I would have all of the legendaries. I don't.
This was the main core revolutionary game mechanic of Diablo 2.
There's nothing revolutionary about RNG. The people that invented RNG in fantasy gaming is Dungeons and Dragons. They were the ones that introduced dice rolls, because before that, different types of like fantasy-based games were not fun to play because they were completely on rails. And my mom, like, she actually played games that were fantasy games before Dungeons and Dragons. I did not even know this, but I found the ancient texts. And this is back whenever she was still around. So I asked her, I was like, what the fuck is this? And she had spreadsheets and lists and everything for like these games that were made for a computer that can fucking, you know, this is like one of the computers that have like a screen this small. So the Jedi texts, I found them. And she's like, yeah, this is like this old game I used to play on the computer, and like it was an Osborne PC. Let me show you the PC that she played this game on, okay? This is the PC right here. I'd have to find the specific one, but I could literally take it. I don't want to get it's in my fucking closet, and there's a bunch of stuff in my closet. I'm not getting it, but I have one of these. And it is, let me just see, it's basically like one of these here. And it's got a little screen in the middle. And this is what she used to play games on. And Dungeons and Dragons was the thing that introduced RNG into fantasy gaming. It was not Diablo 2. Like, this like predates Diablo 2 by like 20 or 30 years.
Core value has been exiled from the Diablo franchise since the release of Diablo.
Item RNG is what he's talking about? Item RNG was made by Dungeons and Dragons.
Big innocent eyes fool you.
And now abandoned by Diablo 4. Now, you may
RNG has been abandoned by Diablo 4? I didn't know that.
I didn't think so.
Well, I guess next time I kill a boss, I'm just going to get the legendary I want. Thank God.
What is it about Diablo 2 that made that game the greatest game of all time?
Okay.
Why did I spend 20 years playing this game and not others? With my studies of quantum physics and my spiritual journey, I realized 95% of quantum physics and my spiritual journey, I realized 95% of our brain's thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, perceptions, and more
We're only 2 minutes into this video and we're already getting into the fucking metaphysical shit? Oh my God. We're 2 minutes in and he's already revealing his power level? Oh no. Let him cook? All right.
Function like an automatic, unconscious computer program. Your perceptions of the real world and the gaming world are a set of unconscious programs. This theory, along with the misunderstanding of Diablo's core game mechanics, were the real reason why you had these beliefs about Diablo 2 being the greatest game of all time, which I will explain in further detail later on. Chris Wilson, the creator of Path of Exile, studied these theories as well about Diablo 2 when he was creating Path of Exile. Chris knew Diablo 2 was the greatest game of all time, and he studied the game to its core. Every time you log on to Diablo 2, you have a new experience because of the RNG mechanics. Every moment is different. It is impossible to have the same experience you had before every time you log on to the game. When you enter the world, the dungeons are randomized.
I mean, I don't really think that's entirely true in a unique way with Diablo 2. Like, maybe I'm wrong because I haven't played the game a lot, but I've watched the game a pretty good amount. And my understanding with Diablo 2 is that most of the level layouts, like, it's... Like in Path of Exile, most of the different locations whenever you're doing the campaign are pseudo-randomized. So, for example, if you want to go to the, into, like, the cave in Act 2 where the bear is, okay? You're going to go into the crossroads or whatever it is on top of the Act 2 area, and it's going to be to the right. And it will be somewhere in that area. And it's not going to be exactly in the same place every time, but there's a general area that it will be in. The den, yeah. And my understanding is that that's lifted from Diablo 2. Because Diablo 2 has randomized locations, but fixed location, like a fixed location apparatus, where it can be in like one of 5 different areas, and it will be down to the left. That's the way it works, right? Yes, exactly. Yeah, okay, I thought so. I mean, again, I'm only guessing here, but yes, it's a tile. No, I understand tile sets. No, bro, like I played a lot of Diablo 3. I get it, but I put thousands of hours into Diablo 3. I put thousands of hours into Path of Exile. I did not really play Diablo 2. I wish I did. My mom didn't let me. Bro, it had Diablo on the fucking cover. I was raised Roman Catholic. I'm not getting a game that has the devil on the cover, okay? It's just not going to happen. It was like, no, but you killed the devil. It's like, aha, yeah, nice try. Nice try, Satan. Not today. So, yeah. Anyway, I feel like if you played Diablo 2, you would pretty much have the same experience, roughly the same experience every time. And it's not going to be a one-for-one experience, but it will be extremely similar to the other experiences that you had. And how, not entirely, yes, but like we're talking about like 95%. And it's not entirely in the same way that Diablo 3 was not entirely. Not entirely in the same way that Path of Exile maps are not entirely. Now, the PoE maps are a little bit different because like there are fixed maps, but in general, I think this is the case. Let's get back to the quantum physics. You're right. Anyway, yeah, I disagree on the idea that Diablo 2 is uniquely unique. I think that many games have dungeon randomized tile sets. Diablo 2 is not the only game that has this.
Along with the types of monsters that spawn, the loot that drops.
I will, however, say that Diablo 2 is the reason why all of the other games have it.
The map layouts, and even your skill damage ability. Now, when you play Diablo 2, as I said, 95% of your perceptions of the world are unconscious. You unconsciously never knew exactly why Diablo 2 was the greatest game of all time. And these core game mechanics pass right by your awareness. This concept of the Diablo world had you constantly addicted to the rush of wanting new experiences. You just never realized it this whole time. The loot.
I think this video would be a lot better if he replaced you and he replaced it with I. Because what he's really talking about is his personal experience with the game. And like a lot of people didn't get that vibe from Diablo 2.
Being randomized gave you a sense of overwhelming accomplishment when you found something like such as a high rune. This extreme rarity combined with the reward of extreme power left the player feeling like they were truly rewarded for their effort. The reason why Diablo 2 players won't like Diablo 4 is because it doesn't have these core game mechanics of the RNG. In Diablo 4, the world is almost always the same with no RNG. The dungeons are the same repetitive experience over and over again. Fetch a key, run to the left, run to the right, and open a door. The monsters...
I mean, whenever I watch people doing farming runs for, like, Diablo 2, all it is like, usually it's like a sorcerer teleporting frames and then AoEing down a group of mobs and then resetting it and doing it again. Like, that's the gameplay that I see a lot. And I'm not saying that's the whole game, but that's certainly what I see. I see that a lot. And the reason, straight up, like, that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to play the game. Is that's obviously the best farming method, right? Like, there's no way anybody can beat that. So, like, that's, in my opinion, I think that's a shit meta. It is. It's a shit meta. And if they were still developing the game, it wouldn't be like that.
Spawns are somewhat randomized, however, mostly the same. So now let's talk about soulbound.
Well, it's somewhat randomized, but mostly the same. I think that's, again, what Diablo 2 has as well. And also, like, whenever he's talking about, like, this thing, I don't think you can really compare, like, endgame Diablo 2 to Act 1 Diablo 4 dungeons. Because the end game dungeons are going to be different. They're not going to be the exact same because they're going to be like modified by affixes and different types of different things that the Nightmare dungeons will apply to them.
Items, no trading, and the itemization. So 98% of the item drops are for your class and gives you no sense of accomplishment. This term is item drop items, no trade. However, mostly the same. So now let's talk about soulbound items, no trading, and the itemization. So 98% of the item drops are for your class and gives you no sense of accomplishment. This term
98% of the item drops are for your class and gives you no sense of accomplishment. I think he's right about the first thing, he's wrong about the second one. I think that yes, and I've always been a very big advocate that I think that they should have more drops for other classes that happen whenever you get to max level. Because, like, for example, somebody might kind of want to make a wizard, but if they have, like, a really good wizard item drop, they might think, oh, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll try it out now since I got, like, the best in-slot weapon for wizard to drop. Or something like that. I think that'd be fine.
It's called personal loot, the same repetitive experience. This is a spin-off concept from World of Warcraft instance loot, where the loot drops are mostly the same from bosses and become soulbound. This has removed the idea of item drops being unique, special, and rewarding. This is to appeal to the casual players.
I don't think that having personal loot makes item drops and things like that not rewarding. Because it's still hard to get the items. It's not like you can't get, it's not like you're just going to get everything you want.
Also the World of Warcraft player base because it has a massive following. And they like the concept of instance loot. They don't like RNG based item drops. This gets them interested in the game and makes Blizzard more money from a wider audience.
Alright.
This concept of instance loot. They don't like RNG based item drops.
The items are RNG though. Like, I don't. Where is this person going about how the items aren't RNG? Because they literally drop with random stats. Now they don't like. For example, like a legendary item will always drop with, like, you know, I don't know. Andariel's Visage would always drop with, what was it, like crit chance and like crit damage or attack speed or something like that. Yeah, but all the other stats were random. He doesn't know how RNG is applied. He's saying RNG in the sense for any of your class? Oh, okay, yeah.
This gets them interested in the game and makes Blizzard more money from a wider audience. Also, the loot drops were increased for the beta. However, I still think Blizzard is going to have legendaries dropping like Rao runes, just to benefit the casual player base.
Well, I think that's probably smart to have legendaries drop a lot, because legendaries allow people to build their character the way they want. Like, you don't want to have people farming for, like, fucking... Like, for example, this is a problem that Path of Exile has, is that in PoE, there are a lot of builds that take a long time to get going, and I think that you have to invest so much into it that unless you're a very serious player, you might just lose interest in the game in the process. Like, I think this is definitely a problem. So, like, you do want to have legendaries drop kind of regularly. Now, it doesn't mean you get all the legendaries all the time. No. But it means you want to give people at least something to work towards. Absolutely.
Also, for casual players who don't play the game
it's a seasonal
at an
game.
end game level. So, soulbound items and no trading. Have you ever heard any player say, I don't like trading? I don't want...
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying that they don't like it. That's why you have solo self-found. That's why PoE has solo self-found. It's a huge thing. That's why like classic WoW hardcore has solo self-found. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people that think that. Now, I am a trading enjoyer. I really like the idea of trading, and I think that if you took trading out of a game like Path of Exile, my interest for the game would diminish greatly. I love trading, and trading is what made me like Diablo 3 Vanilla more than Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Because I like the idea of being able to farm out items and sell those items and then work towards the real big item that I want incrementally over time. Like, I have farmed out, like, for example, like my Ward Loop character in PoE. That was like a almost 100-hour journey that I took because I could trade. And I worked towards that goal one map at a time. And that felt really good for me to do. I really enjoyed that. So I am a huge trading advocate. I am a massive trading enjoyer. I think that they should have trading. And it seems like they are.
Trading in Diablo 4. Never. Let's say you find a Zod rune, the rarest rune in the entire game of Diablo 2 that is for a build like a barbarian, and you found it on a sorceress, so now it has no use to you. If this was Diablo 4, you couldn't trade it. One of the rarest items in the game, and you now have to just salvage it. Even though...
And this is something that PoE does right. Like, I think that I got, what was that fucking, I got a jewel, and it was worth like 8 or 9 divine orbs, which are like, it was a big ticket item, right? Divine orbs are like fucking $100 bills or $1,000 bills, $1,000 bills. Shared stash. Well, what he means is you can't sell it.
Item drops are class based. What if it's not for your build? Will this happen in Diablo 4? Most likely. This theory isn't absolute because we haven't experienced end game. So
of course it'll happen. Of course you'll get items that aren't perfect for you.
Why does Blizzard want no trading when 98% of the Diablo community wants trading?
I mean, where did you get that number? I would argue that I think that most people do want trading because most players will advocate for the path of least resistance. And trading is the path of least resistance. Like, I think that it's the majority. Is it 98%? I don't know. I think that it's very high. Like, if you were to say, like, should we take trading out of the game and put it up to a vote, I don't think that vote would pass. It's a cut down on RMT for sure. No, I don't want to be handicapped by Blizzard because they refuse to moderate their game. No, I don't want to be handicapped. Nope. This is a $70 fucking box price game. If you can't moderate your game, I don't want to be punished for that. That's your fault.
Many theories to this. One is Blizzard thinks this will fix real money trading.
It won't.
However, there will always be real money.
Because you can always trade other things. You can trade tons of other things that are not, like you can trade gold, for example. You just can't trade high-end, unique items.
Trading when trading is available in any kind of form. There's no fix to RMT unless the game is completely solo self-found. Blizzard wants
you're right.
you to actually find the items yourself.
He's right about this, and I think that so for example, the way that the game is structured right now, my understanding is that a lot of rare items will end up being best in slot. And rare items are tradable. Because rare items can have up to 5 affixes, and legendary items can only have 4. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it's going to be at the highest level. Am I right about that or not? Isn't it the opposite? No, it's not. See, the reason why you think it's the opposite is because you played the lower tier of the game. Because at the higher tier of the game, Blizzard explained that the rares at that level are going to have 5 affixes. At like World Tier 4, they'll have 5 affixes. And that's one of the bonuses of playing in World Tier 4. He's not right? They changed it? Really? Rares have 5 affixes, so you can turn them into legendaries later. Yeah, they did. So you can get a god roll rare. Yeah. You want to get a rare item with like I mean, if this is Diablo 3, right? Like crit chance, crit damage, attack speed, main stat, main and like health, right? Like that's it. They didn't change it? I don't know, but like as it stands right now, my understanding is that a lot of the best in slot items, or the items that have the potential to be the best in slot items, will be tradable.
Complete your character. In other words, they just want you to be solo self-found. This restricts the player from having the freedom to make their own choices.
Yeah, exactly. I think that they should just have a solo self-found mode. If you don't want to play with that, you should just have solo self-found mode, and that's it. Are you not ashamed of your actions to promote third-party site and RMT? Absolutely not. I think the only person who should be ashamed is Blizzard, because Blizzard is the one that's responsible for maintaining the integrity of their game. I should not advocate to have the game be a worse experience because Blizzard refuses to spend money on customer service. No, I'm not going to take responsibility for them being a multi-billion-dollar company unable to pay a few customer service representatives to make obvious decisions on bans. That's outrageous. Path of Exile does it, and the game is free.
They should just have a self-found league like Path of Exile. They're literally forcing the player base to be solo self-found. Another theory is they're trying to appeal to a wider audience of players.
Yeah, again, this is predicated on something that's like it's not functionally true. Unless my information is outdated. Oh, another fact is that some legendaries are tradable, other legendaries are not tradable. Because you guys remember whenever I played with Silverveil, and I was able to trade her some of my legendaries, and she was able to trade me some of hers, but not other ones. So not only are some legendaries tradable, but the highest potential items that are the rare items that have 5 affixes are going to be tradable because rare items are by default tradable. They confirmed that was a bug? Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you. I was not aware of that. Okay, well, you can still trade the rare items.
Which is probably World of Warcraft, where soulbound items are the pathway to endgame gear completion.
Yeah.
The next theory is...
Which, by the way, I am an advocate of all gear in World of Warcraft should be account bound. Completely. With no restrictions at all.
Personally think this is the best for the game and its future, regardless of community feedback. And the last theory is they think Diablo 3 was a success based on sales of 30 million copies without trading. However, when
Diablo 3 was a success in every metric. It was a massive success. The only people who think that it wasn't a success are people that had probably 500 plus hours into the game, which is like the top 10 or 1% of the player base. Like, a lot of people played Diablo 3. Do PoE has RMT? It's really hard to stop because people do it in different countries. No trade is the best answer. I don't care. I don't feel like my experience in Path of Exile is being diminished by traders, RMT. I would rather have some level of RMT and be able to trade than have no RMT and no trading. That's what I want. I would rather have some RMT and trading instead. Like, because that is the choice. You're right, that we will have some RMT no matter what. But as a Path of Exile player, I played the game many fucking leagues. I played this league as well. And as a PoE player for 10 years, over 10 years, I do not feel like my experience in the game has ever been diminished by other people RMTing. So I don't have a problem. We have the money to interact with that system and we don't, so hey, fuck us. Wait, I have the money to interact with... Wait, what money do I have? I have the money to interact with RMT? I've never RMT'd in... If I ever RMT'd in any game, I will be honest, guys. I was down bad in one PoE league, and I looked up how much Exalted Orbs were. I did. I looked it up, and then I decided it wasn't worth it, and I didn't buy them. But yeah, I looked it up. I was so upset, man.
Diablo 3 was released, everyone hated the game, and it died. The game had 200 Twitch viewers for years. The game was completely lifeless, while Diablo 2 had 40,000 players online in 2016. And for some reason, Blizzard still seems to...
Did it have 40,000 players online all the time, or was this a peak? Because I don't think that they have 40,000 people online right now. There's no way. That was whenever it came out in 2016. I'm pretty sure it didn't come out in 2016.
Think that the game was a success. Diablo in the franchise is like the Beatles. It doesn't matter if the album or if the music or if the game is even good at all. It's going to sell millions of copies just because of the hype around the name.
He's right about this.
So let's talk about the constant restrictions of gameplay. Diablo 4 is advertised as an open world game. The world makes you feel restricted on the places you can go because there are barriers everywhere. The dungeons are usually one pathway and it literally makes you feel trapped in the world. Diablo 2 was 10 times more open world than this, and I'm not sure why Blizzard has designed the world this way.
It's hard to say how open world Diablo 4 is really going to be because we haven't seen anything more than Act 1. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think that being an open world really just means that you can see other players. I think that that's what they kind of mean. It's an open zone. Yeah, I don't know.
When it was supposed to be open world. There are many aspects of the game that restrict you from where you really want to go and things you want to do. You can't go wherever you want because of the barriers in the open world, and you can't trade all of the items.
Well, I mean, you couldn't in the beta because you could only go to Act 1, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that's the... I mean, yeah, it's the beta, like, they didn't have everything unlocked. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? I mean...
Either. And aspects can only be applied to certain items. You constantly have to salvage, enchant items, extract legendaries, etc. There's always something restricting you from progressing, when instead you should just be out in the world killing stuff, not crafting constantly in the main city like World of Warcraft.
I don't... Bro, like, what?
To salvage, enchant items, extract legendaries, etc. There's always something restricting you from progressing, when instead you should just be out in the world killing stuff, not crafting constantly in the main city like World of Warcraft.
That's not even true. So, like, okay, let's talk about this. Number one, most people aren't crafting all day in the main city in World of Warcraft. However, now in Dragonflight, there's more of an economy for it, so maybe you have more people that do it now. In general, that's not the case. Also, with Diablo 2, there isn't a lot of crafting. Like, let's think about what crafting things you can do. You can replace one stat on a piece of gear. You can apply gem sockets to pieces of gear. You can enchant and also extract legendary affixes. And you can upgrade gear at the blacksmith. And you can apply gems into the gear. I mean, I feel like that's not a lot in Diablo 4.
These features should be choices, not requirements. And this is where Diablo 2 got something almost perfect. Because there was crafting and there were ways to enchant your items and do other different types of crafting and enchanting abilities. It's just you didn't absolutely have to do it to be able to progress your character in the game. When you're completing the Diablo 4 story and questing, you can skip the cutscenes. However, you still spend hours of time hitting your escape key to skip the cutscenes. Every side quest has the same boring scene. Also, every quest is a lot of walking and a lot of talking to NPCs. I don't know how many times I had to walk all the way across the map for so many quests.
It is kind of annoying to have to walk all the way over to like where that lady is at the top area next to like where Anarius is. It is annoying, but like that's because we don't have the mount in Act 1, and like usually you'll have the mount in Act 2. It's not that big of a deal.
I could just be out there killing stuff. It feels like they are trying to make the game an open world type atmosphere similar to World of Warcraft with a...
It's more like Lost Ark, really. I think that Lost Ark is probably the foundation that they're making a lot of decisions based off of.
An RPG spin-off that has a ton of restrictions. Rune words are not completed for the release of the game. They were a feature Blizzard announced to try to get Diablo 2 players into Diablo 4. This is basically the same thing as socketing an item with a jewel or a perfect gem. They are not rune words. You just get different effects based on the rune. The feature isn't completed, and I'm sure Blizzard will use this in an upcoming patch to gain hype. I don't think they understand the complex game mechanics for rune words because this requires a lot of testing and knowledge to be balanced properly. And most of the devs at Blizzard that work on Diablo games, I don't think they know anything about Diablo 2. And
I don't know about that, man. It's like whenever I look at the guys that are making Diablo 4, especially that Rod guy and that Joseph guy, they have the same energy as like the oldest guy in the comic book shop that knows more about Spider-Man than you do. I think they know how the rune words work. I'm pretty sure they do.
never see them ever playing the game. It just seems like they have a job and working at Blizzard is really cool, so they just like to be at Blizzard for the clout and the hype. I never seen one ever playing the game. It just don't know anything about Diablo 2. And I also never see them ever playing the game. It just seems like they have a job and working at Blizzard.
I mean, I could say like Adam Fletcher, who's the, I mean, he's community manager, right? So it's like kind of hard to one-to-one this. But like he posts about Diablo 2 kind of regularly. So I don't know about like, I can't say like, oh, this guy posted about it on this day. That's just the first one I can think of. I've seen Rod in game on all 3 betas.
It is really cool, so they just like to be at Blizzard for the clout and the hype. I never seen one Blizzard employee actually play the game, so I assume they don't have much knowledge or passion Diablo game mechanics that come from the other games, such as Diablo 2.
I can see why this guy didn't get invited to the events.
This is probably why they copy and paste Diablo 3, because they don't actually understand Diablo at all. This is why the skill tree is like Path of Exile, and the rest of the game is just like World of Warcraft with a spin-off. It doesn't seem like PvP...
The skill tree is not really like PoE. The skill tree is like the World of Warcraft skill tree, and the Paragon board is kind of like Path of Exile.
Is going to be completed for the release. This is impossible to balance with the current version of the game, because my chain lightning does more damage than my actual health. If Blizzard wanted, they could balance PvP.
Wait, what?
This is impossible. It doesn't seem like PvP is going to be completed for the release. This is impossible to balance with the current version.
Well, I mean, I don't think that it's supposed to be. I mean, Diablo is a PvE game. Nobody cares. Like, bro, if you care about PvP in Diablo, like, what the fuck? Just go play Valorant.
Of the game, because my chain lightning does more damage than my actual health. If Blizzard wanted, they could balance PvP and get the game on an esports level of popularity.
Yeah, that's what I thought about Overwatch too. And also Overwatch as well. And also World of Warcraft. And StarCraft. And did they make another game? Because if they did, probably about that game too. Heroes of the Storm, yeah.
I just don't think they care enough for the game as much as they do World of Warcraft. I fear we won't see many...
As a World of Warcraft player, I feel like the WoW team has actually delivered a lot of really good content. And I think that this is not only true with retail WoW, I think it's also true with classic WoW. I think that basically every single decision that Blizzard has made regarding classic Wrath of the Lich King has been a good decision. And it's been impressive to me that they've made so many very good decisions with classic WoW. Now, I'm sure there's probably a couple of L's in there, but overall, as a WoW player, I do feel like the devs have there are things wrong with WoW. Don't get me wrong. But I think that the game is not awful right now. That's it.
Major content patches, because after 2 years they will make the majority of the money that there is to make from Diablo 4. I don't see Blizzard making enough money off cosmetics and battle passes for them to actually care for the game as much as they...
I think that they will. I think they absolutely will. And the reason why is because Diablo 4, it's like what he said earlier in the video, is that Diablo 4 hits a mainstream audience. There are a lot of people that hear about Diablo 4 from a commercial on TV. And one thing that people are not taking into account is how many people are console Diablo 3 players that never watch streams or anything like that. And that's why console players are like this silent majority that you never think about. But Diablo 3 has tons of people that play it on console, obviously. So that's why they release it on every fucking console. And guess what? All of those people are going to play the game and get the battle passes. Because that's what the battle passes are really for. They're not for the super hardcore, grind every season for 900 hours players. These are for the casual 9 to 5 Dans that come back and they want to play Diablo on the weekends with their friends. These are the couch co-op dad gamers. Dans? Yeah, yeah.
They care for World of Warcraft. Maybe if the game was a subscription-based money off cosmetics, battle passes for them to actually care.
Yeah, I find that to be that's such a crazy opinion. So I wonder why this person, if you were to ask them, why do you think every single game is shifting over towards this model then? If it's not a fundamentally good model, why is every game shifting towards this model? Very interesting question. Because it makes money? Well, he's saying it won't. And he's saying the reason why Blizzard won't care about it is because it won't make money. Discord interview him? Sure, if he wants to talk about the game, that's fine with me. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
For the game, as much as they care for World of Warcraft. Maybe if the game was a subscription-based game, it's just over time they won't make enough money from the game anymore. So I don't really see them continuing to develop more features and more of the end game in the future. Also, there's...
PoE gets developed, right? I would say PoE has continuously gotten developed over time, and that hasn't really been a big deal. And that's fine. Diablo 3 didn't. Well, don't you understand that if you say that Diablo 3 didn't, that goes against your argument, because Diablo 3 didn't have the monetization structure that Diablo 4 has, that he is implying will prevent it from making money? So, if you say Diablo 3 didn't, you're agreeing with me.
Seems to be what I call a culture flip, or a new age of Diablo players that actually like Diablo 3 and even Diablo 4 game mechanics. After the release of Diablo 3, everyone hated the game, even before it was released. Also, the game died.
I don't think people hated the game before it was released. That's actually not true. I don't know how old this guy is, but I'll tell you what it was like. So basically everybody was really, really hyped for Diablo 3. And the reason for that is because everybody, number one, this had been an anticipated game. When did Diablo 2 come out? Year 2000, 2002 or something like that? I don't know. Came out a long, long time ago. And Diablo 3 was the main next installment, right? It was a huge fucking big deal, and they announced Diablo 3 in 2008, I believe. So this had been hyped up for 4 years. So number one, the game had hype riding on it, and it was in development hell. They redid the game a couple of times. It was a big thing. And so then whenever Diablo 3, the beta came out, you were able to play up to Leoric, the Skeleton King. And that experience of the beginning of the game up to Leoric was actually S tier. And everything, I would argue, in Act 1 in Diablo 3 was like one of the best gaming experiences of an ARPG ever. It was absolutely fucking S tier. And that was the only thing that people had a viewpoint of inside of Diablo 3. All they saw was Act 1 being really good. But the moment that you stepped foot into that desert, you had mobs off-screening you, enemies not attacking you and not being able to be seen. Zoltan Kuhl was a shit fight. Belial was a shit fight. Like, everything in Act 2 was shit. It was so garbage. That stupid butterfly bitch that would run over and she'd put, like, the butterflies on you and then she'd summon the berserkers and she'd run away and, oh my god, it was awful. Right? So the point is that Diablo 3, was extremely anticipated on release. And everybody was hoping and expecting it to be good because everything they saw in the closed beta was massively fucking popular. Do you know what? Dylan, show us your dick, Dylan, let me play on his Battle.net account because he had the beta and I didn't. This was literally fucking like 12 years ago or something like that. Yeah, no, it's a friend of mine. It's a long story why he's called that. It's a very, very long story. And anyway, so he had me play on it, and I played all the way through it, and I had so much fucking fun. And anyway, what I'm saying is that Diablo 3 was massively and eagerly anticipated by the entire internet. And I remember that fateful day, and it was like May in 2012 whenever it came out. And I played with a couple of friends of mine, and I remember I got like a massive drink from 7-Eleven, and I played all night long, and
Chris?
Jeg vet ikke.
Der jo han Killumann.
Hva skjer?
Nei. Hva som skjer? Faen, det slags spørsmål?
Ingenting, hæ?
Står til kuken.
Hæ?
Ja, står til kuken.
Går bra, går bra.
Classic Andean. Skjemmes du, se.
Jeg daua jo I går. Måtte jo begynne på nytt.
Nei, seriøst.
Måtte det?
Nei, faen hvor surt.
Jeg daua på level 17 eller noe I Barons.
Ja.
Så skjer, vet du. Chris skulle vise meg noe, vet du, på...
Ja, skyld på en
sitter og
Chris.
følger med på 2 skjermer, vet du, og bare løper inn I
Ja,
masse
skyld på en Chris.
Hva vil du ha? Vil du ha rett på, eller?
Finn en mail, så vi kan swappe gear.
Venter.
Ja.
404?
Ja, hva du I high level?
401?
Ja. Da har vi en squad.
Ja. Hva med som her?
Hei, squad. Ja, han Chris gjør en key. Tenk om du var her I stedet for å drive og dø på denne klassikken. Kan du heller å dø I dungeons her? Her kan du release og komme tilbake.
Du har jo et poeng.
Ja, vet du hva? Jeg har battle rest. Ingen problem. I got you. Hvor fett vi hadde hatt det.
Jeg bruker 500 jævla spenn på Dragonfight, det det siste jeg skal gjøre, altså.
Men jo angre på salg forrige uka.
Hvor mye rabatt var det?
Jeg tror ikke det var på salg engang, men det var noe salg I shoppen.
Ja.
Men helt sikkert garantert at ikke det var på salg. Men jeg vet at sånn som character transfer og alt sånt var på salg. Halv pris. Så GM-en min, han sponset character transfer for at jeg skulle joine gilden.
Ja.
Da sa jeg greit, jeg gjør det.
Men det egentlig salg, når man tenker på det? For de setter jo prisene selv. Det kunne jo kostet $1 å transfere en jævla karakter. Men de velger å sette det til 20 for å så selge det til dere på salget etterpå.
Det koster jo en kalori å trykke på en knapp og bare transfere, ja. Det jo så inndyrt.
Ja, de kunne bare hatt det gratis, for faen.
Men kalorien skal jo mates opp igjen med pannekaker.
Ja.
Det jo fette dyrt. Du vet noe selv.
Ja, det det.
Hva lagde du?
Hva jeg lavte?
Ja.
Jeg lavte en rogue og en mage. Begge vel snart level 10.
Ja.
Oi, du vil spille?
Nei. Men jeg spiller ikke noe seriøst, for det. Jeg skal jo spille Diablo 4 når det kommer ut, så jeg bare kødder rundt. Jeg rekker jo ikke å bli 60. Så det egentlig bare faen å gjøre.
Ja. Men det var helt sikkert gøy, det.
Kanskje kjøpt food og sånt, men det får bare være.
Da for å være helt ærlig, dere kunne ha skrudd ned varmen her litt. Nå det litt for varmt her. Hæ?
Må skaffe deg en Honeywell, vet du.
Hva det for noe?
Aircondition, vet du.
Å, dæven.
Sånn en boks som du slenger vann I bakken, og så...
Det jo utsolgt hele tiden, den fittebyen.
Nei, kanskje det.
Og det ikke kødd engang. Her det en Valkyrie I lag med meg. Fy. NP. Skal jeg gå healing-ring? Jeg har bare sånn healing... Primordial Gems. Tror du det funker som tank?
Snøring.
Faen, det hørtes ut som han poppa meg pils der. Han ble noe litt pilsug. Men det var bare en Pepsi Max, gutta, med lime.
Han er keystone-greier her inne.
Nei, du må skifte til Mythic.
Pepsi Max med lime, ja, den er jo faen meg dritgod.
Ja, den er det. Kjøpte meg en sixpack. Ja, jeg driter jo penger tydeligvis. Kjøpte jeg meg... Åh, i dag, jeg slo på stortromma i dag. Jeg har ikke kjøpt meg noe digg på lenge, liksom.
Ja, hva kjøpte
Og
du?
i dag så har jeg unnet meg litt ekstra. Jeg kjøpte meg faen sånn ost- og skinkekroissant til 70 kroner.
Oi.
Å, fy faen, hvor god den var. Åh, plassen er bakeri. Jeg er klar.
Skriv pulltime, ikke det? Pull 10.
Ja, full 10. Eller countdown 10. Ready to rumble. Har vi blå? Ja, det har vi. Hold. Ja, men da går vi da.
Ja, kjør på. Bonus. Skal stoppe her, ja. Ok.
Ja. Det gjør litt vondt i her. Sånn. Jeg gjør jo damage, Chris.
Rogira.
Hæ?
Rogira.
Ja, jeg er jo sprutgira. Jeg har jo 4 sett. Men det her er grunnen til at jeg tok tank. Da kan vi liksom blæse igjennom. Da er det vi... Hæ? Ja. Da er det vi som styrer tempoet. Fuck the rest. Fucking weasels. Da er det vi som styrer tempoet. Har du blåløs?
Ja.
Ja, bare kjør blåløs.
Nå?
Ja. Kjør. Jeg er fette crazy. Jeg er crazy. Å, se han Keling over 100K! Men er han død?
Første, ja.
Ja. Og nå er det sånn her piratskuta. Yarr, it's Captain Crook. Hook him in.
I can teach you how to cook. How are ya?
Det bare pulle en del.
Pulle litt.
Watch your back.
Og vi sender. Det var litt casters her.
Ja.
Det var bra. Kommer tilbake, jeg skal bare hente et par her.
Ja, nei, det pleier ikke å gå ned i...
Det gjorde vondt i her, ass. Oi, det er blidott. Den er dårlig.
Skal jeg egentlig face han bort, skal du ikke det?
Jeg skal kite han i trappen, sånn. Men jeg rullet rett i en trapp selv. Gjør han noe?
Det er jo dårlig, ass.
Boom. Han var lute. Nei, det er ikke lut.
Det er jo mythic.
Det er jo mythic, for faen.
Det er nye game, eller?
Ja. Jeg tror jeg er overfull, men det går noe bra. Kan hende... Neida, vi har det her.
Ja, går det, ass.
Nei, det er bare casters, det er derfor.
Nei, jeg har en sånn. Der fikk han endelig, ja. Jeg hadde en som stod bare og poundet.
Sorry.
Jeg går bra. Vi har et unntak.
Det gjør vondt.
Helvete.
Gjør du igjen?
Nei, jeg prøvde...
Har du ikke tagget mobs?
Nei, jeg prøvde også å drepe han der jævla jetien, vet du. Dvergplassen.
Ja.
Så kajta han nedover, og så risatte han, for jeg hadde faen ikke månd. Jeg hadde han til sånn 10% driten. Jeg gikk tom for mana, vet du, jævla mage.
Ja, det er ikke som Rogen når det kommer tilbake.
Nei. På Rogen så er det så jævla lett, for jeg kan bare bruke throw weapons og dritt.
Ellen sa, den er god. Jeg hadde ikke lyst til å caste uansett.
Nei. Bare stå og se på Chris.
Det er det som er gøy.
Følg med, hun står og filmer.
Vi prøver jo igjen, gjør vi ikke det?
Immuntester litt pris. Å faen, man er våken kjørt fra det, kan jeg love deg. Det som er bra, når jeg puller sånn her, så lærer du også rotation jævlig bra. Tror du det?
Ja.
Great to meet you. Very well done. Baron will be so happy when he hears the good
Det er liksom, det er ikke helt... Jeg prøver å finne ut av, for noen sier du skal bruke sånn som Fire Breath. At du skal bruke den på fullt, mens andre sier at du skal bare... Så fort du har den oppe, liksom, så skal du bare kjøre den. Om det er på 1 eller 2 eller 3, det har ikke noe å si.
Faen, de her momsene er helt jævlig å heale. På høy kris. Så sjekk den debuffen du har på det. Og den går bare opp og opp og opp og opp. Og den
Ja, da må
tikker.
du må nesten ha priest med det.
Ja, hvis ikke
Eller må
så...
ikke, men...
Jeg må dispelle på cooldown, hvis ikke vi har priest.
Ja.
Jeg skal faen
Du har...
for det lulles.
Ja.
Alt dør for jævla fort uansett. Jeg dør. Jeg dør ikke. Å, det damage man gjør. Men det er alt jeg hadde. Så Paladin som dem på alt han var sviget på sånn 200 på tanks.
Det er jo lite, jeg.
Ja, det er tanks da. Oi, i den der. Da ser du hvor fett i nesen den buffen er.
Ja, hvis ikke jeg bruker min Verdant Embrace på han der, så dør han.
Vi skal jo på tidenes hyggeligste hyttetur. Men jeg er altså så spent hvem som venter oss der inne. Hallo? Jeg har vunnet i Lotto. Hei!
Kanskje det blir liksom sånn at jeg får 2 mødre her inne.
Torpe kjendis. Strøm nå på TV2 Play.
Me and Raquel became like really good friends.
I don't give a about Raquel! Your friendship is bullshit.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's bullshit. It's disgusting.
You know everything. You
it's
know
disgusting.
Everything.
Utroskapsskandalen i realityserien Vanderpump Rules, populært omtalt som #Scandal, har på kort tid blitt en av tidenes største reality-snakkiser, og det hele utfolder seg på TV i beste sendetid. I serien får man se at reality-stjernen Tom Sandoval har vist seg å være utro mot sin mangeårige samboer Ariana Madix i over et halvt år.
In his camera roll, I found a screen recording of Raquel and Tom on FaceTime. My stomach dropped into my ass.
Det var nemlig ikke hvem som helst Sandoval hadde vært ute med, nemlig bestevenninne og tal kjæreste Raquel Lewis.
Did you see his girlfriend? Oof, that one smash her.
I can't
either.
Nå venter hele verden på reunion-episodene, og skyldige skal bli stilt til veggs.
Did you see Harlan's girlfriend?
Nei.
Maybe you should.
Is she big and black?
No, she's actually white and pretty.
I don't care then. They've got to be it's over 7 foot and black. That's Shaq.
It can be a good fuck. Dave, du er Walker, sorry.
Yeah, Bruno, I can't play comp with Sean.
Oh, I can't even know. You went to play in a 5-stack.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go next one. Chris.
Ja.
Ah, vad är sign? Type in your note for set tank. Maybe we get some insane. Probably not. It's worth a shot. Oh, big DH. Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
What you doing, man?
Good.
You. What are you doing?
Chilling.
Oh. Chilling. Sorry, I only have one speaker.
Why?
Because I'm alcoholic.
Fair enough.
No, actually, I have another headset, but the fucking Bluetooth part costs like €80.
It's okay.
Suck. No.
Who do you want to take here?
No one, actually.
Alright.
I can't have leader either because of my authenticator. It's so scuffed, man.
Why can't you have leader?
Yeah, because I don't have authenticator. You can take that monk, actually.
And you can't be a leader in a party group if you don't have it?
No, I can only sign up for my own key. 2 healers. No, fuck them. Take the warrior. No, take the fucking hunter. Sorry. Dude, I have almost 700k. Oh gosh.
And error 37, which was the error code that you got whenever you couldn't log into the server, was the top trending thing on all of Twitter worldwide because the servers were so bad. But to say that the game was disliked before it came out is just factually untrue. Like, I was there. Maybe there were some people that disliked it, sure. But to say that it was disliked is absolutely untrue.
While Diablo 2, as I said, had 40,000 players online. I will say I love Diablo. Everyone hated the game, even before it was released. Also, the game died while Diablo 2, as I said, had 40,000 players online. I will say I love Diablo 4, and so far it is a wonderful game.
Well, that's a... what? Okay. Great.
However, everything that made the franchise unique compared to other games has been dismissed for years. And this is why there's an outrage from Diablo 2 players. All we wanted was a new game that was similar to Diablo 2 and its core game mechanics, such as rune words and endgame. It's surprising.
I didn't want that. I'll tell you that. I watched Diablo 2. I thought it looked like shit. I thought the end game sucked. Yeah, I didn't want that. Oh, no way. I didn't want Diablo 3 either. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted.
The name of the food? Taste food?
Actually, Chris, I have no idea. But the best food you can buy is this one.
Pizzabakeren.
Jonas pizza i Tromsø, hva faen prater du om?
Or 12 priest? Yeah. Here.
Big priest.
To me that this new age of Diablo players tell us to go play Diablo 2 if we like it so much, and tell us we're on some kind of nostalgia trip, when everyone hated Diablo 3 to begin with. So I guess it's just a new age for Diablo.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the way that every game is, right? I mean, each game is going to grow and get more popular, and the way it's going to be designed is going to change. I mean, that's just how it is. I think that, like, I think the problem that I have with this video is that a lot of what he did was, I mean, I think you can have a read on the community, but I think that the only, like, real evidence that he used is, like, really not super good. Like, for example, having 40,000 active players on. Like, that's probably during a seasonal update or some kind of, like, a big event. You know, this isn't, like, Tuesday, right? And usually games are going to have a big boost whenever a new season comes out or anything like that. And that's the way it goes. He's speaking for everyone. Yeah, I think that also a lot of times whenever he says that Diablo 2 players or, you know, what everybody thinks or something like that, I don't think that he was really speaking for anybody else except for himself. Now, obviously, I'm sure there are people that agree with him, but to say that this is some sort of generalized opinion is, I don't really think, very true. I think also it's kind of cheesy to, like, call out a lot of these, like, other content creators and say, like, well, you know, these people like insinuate basically that they are disingenuous or malicious in misrepresenting how they feel about the game in order to get access to Blizzard. I think that's kind of unfair, calling them shills, basically. Especially, as I said, I mean, and this is the problem with people like this that speak in generalities, is that anytime that they're actually, like, required to put a fact down, they're trying to put, like, information down. They're really paid to shill. They're literally paid to shill, though. Well, what I'm saying is that what are they saying? So here,